What's going on, guys? We are live with the Beastly Thoughts Show tonight. Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing? What have you been up to? Long time no see. Beastly, this has been a big week for you. I know it has been. The thing you've been talking about this week, I think since I've known you.
Yeah.
So now that Rogue Legacy is out for the PlayStation 4, how are you feeling?
That's funny.
How's everybody doing? Not too nerdy, how you been?
Good, man. Good. I didn't get the last one. Sorry, because I was thinking about getting it, but I spent my money on other things for, like, so I could stream retro games and stuff like that. So that's what I spent my money on. But
did you get a Retron 5 by any chance?
no, I ordered it, but it's now back ordered again for the third time.
And
I'm
everyone
gonna get
that
one of
has them
those.
is charging them like $300 now for them. They're like
Yeah,
$390 or
The
something.
guy I went to said, "Oh, I have it. Just order it." I order it, and then all of a sudden he calls you up and is like, "Oh, it's back ordered." I'm like, "What the hell, dude? Why did I pay the money for it to be back ordered?" But anyway, that's something else. How you doing?
Good. I haven't heard of something being backward like that since the original Wii. I guess now that we're talking about a console that plays 20-year-old games, though, we can wait a couple weeks, right?
Well, it's back ordered like at a retail store where normal people buy it, but if you want to buy it on eBay for like 9-to-5 gamers say outrageous prices, hey, go ahead. There's thousands on that site. But like they cost like what? Like I see them jacking up the price to like
They're like
300.
They're like $320 to like $390 depending on where you're ordering it from.
And the
And
original
they're
price,
$150 retail, right? Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
$150.
Yeah, and the ones that are
Nice.
$320 are like it says they're used, like they're opened. Like so somebody bought it, opened it, and then they package it back up to sell it.
Wait a minute. I don't have any of these games.
Yeah.
I thought this plays PS4 games. Unreal Gamer, how you been? What you been up to this week?
Well, Beastly actually convinced me to get Last of Us for like so long, so I got it and I loved it. I played the campaign. I beat it in like 2 days. It was probably one of the best games I ever played. We'll talk about that later. I'm sure that's on the list.
I'm
So
sure
yeah,
it
that's
is.
pretty much all I've been doing.
Yeah, that's a really nice desk, I gotta say, behind you.
Oh,
Is that a
that's
nice
not-
leather?
It's like my second desk.
Oh, wow, that's fancy. You Canadians, you got it all
One's
up
for
there.
work and this one's pleasure.
That Canadian dry in 2 desks.
you don't have
95 gamers, what have you been up to this week?
Nothing really. Playing a lot of Battlefield, of course, and then Last of Us. I played the multiplayer pretty much all day so far, and I've been playing a lot of random shit that you got for free on Plus on the Vita. So
Yeah.
because I queued
that's right,
almost
you got a new Vita.
I queued almost every game up like that was on Plus before because I wasn't sure if I was ever gonna pick it up again, but I've been playing that.
So how do you like the new Vita? Is it more comfortable? Is the screen better? Worse? What do you think?
For those of you that don't ever play on the OLED, you would never notice the difference. It's quality, like it's a decent screen for what it is, and other than that, it's still the same kind of. It cramps your hands real bad. I notice it's always cramping mine, so whatever.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with it too.
Tearaway was an amazing game.
Yeah, that is cool. Did you
That game
finish
was
it?
great. Yeah, I platinumed it because I only platinum games that I'm really, really into, and I was super into that game. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna platinum this game.
Did you ever get a chance to play that, BriarRabbit?
Tearaway? Yeah.
Yeah, that game is phenomenal.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. It didn't hold my attention, but I really liked it while I was playing with it. But I kind of just fell away from it.
Oh, you didn't finish that, but you beat Thief. Did you beat Thief?
No, I didn't beat Thief.
Okay, well, you're okay.
I got 26 episodes of a Let's Play on my channel.
I just left everybody hanging like fuck it.
Was that
Use
all
your
in the same
imagination.
day? Was that all in the same day, just divided up to 27 parts? It's like, I'm done.
26 1-minute episodes.
People are just like, what people don't know is I did all that video on one day, and I just decided not to play it the next day.
You know what it was? Is that I just got bored with the game, so it became like a chore to play it. You know, so I didn't like the game like after playing it for like I don't know 10 hours or something like that. So I decided instead of like just forcing myself to play it for a Let's Play, why don't I do content that I'm excited about, you know? So I left that one hanging. Oops.
They tried so hard to make that game really free roam, and there was like nothing free roam about it because it was still linear as hell.
Mm-hmm. All right, Beastly Gamer. I know you're excited to start talking about The Last of Us, so let's get into it. Have you been playing on the PS4? Have you played the single player, and have you been playing the multiplayer? I want to know if you played the single player again.
I played an hour and a half of the single player, predominantly just to see the new character skins that I got with my pre-order. I went to the beginning and I really enjoyed it. I beat the game 4 times, so it's like I wasn't really as enthusiastic about getting to the end of the single player. I really wanted to spend more time in the multiplayer, and I gotta say, man, that multiplayer on the PS4, of course, it's virtually the same game. It does look a lot cleaner. For those out there who have the PS3 version and look at the PS4 version, you're probably not going to see as much difference, especially on YouTube. When you actually have it in front of you on the HD TV, it's a world of difference. The clarity, the colors pop, the 60 frames per second has got to be the biggest difference. Yeah. And I'm sure 9 to 5, you could probably agree with me. Gunfights play out so smooth and seamless now, and playing the PS3 version, you didn't know what you were missing. So, I mean, playing the PS4 version and actually having that to compare it to, and seeing that, the characters don't slow down when you start shooting them, and everything just works fast. It's really quick, like Call of Duty. I'm loving the game. I don't see myself stopping for quite a while. But as far as the multiplayer goes, I'm waiting to hear what Unreal thinks about that, because he had never played the game at all until he got the PS4 version. And I want to hear what he has to say. So.
Yeah, I just got the game. I didn't know what to expect. I actually didn't look at any gameplay before I got The Last of Us, so I never saw anything about it. After playing the campaign, I felt that the mechanics were a little bit weird in the beginning, but then you gradually start to get used to it. So I jumped into multiplayer, and the first game I played, which was with Beastly, I wasn't that good. He's a beast at it. I don't know how he does it. He's just like, let's go, and he's just going around. But I really enjoy it because it takes more than what Call of Duty has for skill. Call of Duty is like, let's run in there, let's run with a knife, right? You can't do that here. It's like strategic. You and your teammates have to go from one spot to another in order to win the game. So, and the crafting feature that they put in there is actually pretty cool. I really enjoy it. I got gradually better. If anybody wants to play with me, I'll take you on, but it's very fun. I really like it.
Yeah, you're going to be on my team, so they're not going to win, Unreal. Don't worry about that.
Safe move.
I'm curious to see what this game sold. I haven't seen any numbers yet, but in my Google Plus communities, everybody's playing it. Like in every game community, everybody's playing it, showing pictures, unboxings. I don't know how well it sold, but Amazon said it's been at the top of their games list since the release date. So when the numbers come out, I think we'll be pleasantly surprised at how well The Last of Us Remastered did.
What's the competition like right now? There's not a whole lot out there. I mean, I bought Rogue Legacy this week, but that's a downloadable game. Are there any boxed retail games that are new right now?
I don't think so.
I have to look at the list.
One Piece or whatever came out last week, but that's not a competitor, I wouldn't say.
No. I don't think there's anything that's on the same level as The Last of Us, but it's selling like hotcakes, so.
Not to mention, you got to think of all the people that bought a PlayStation over an Xbox that have never even played the damn game, and that's more of a reason to buy one than ever if you've never played it to begin with.
Yeah, it's probably the best game on PlayStation 4 if you didn't play it on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
Not too nerdy. I almost messed up the name there. Not too nerdy. You played it on the PlayStation 3, but you don't seem too excited about getting to it on the PlayStation 4. Why is that?
Were you going to say too nerdy? I'm just...
Yes.
That's why I cleared that up first.
Mr. Too Nerdy.
I was excited about it, but I know that I'm not getting it for the single player, so I was like, whatever. I'll just jump into multiplayer. It's not... If I'm a week late in multiplayer, it doesn't matter, as opposed to, because... Everyone wants to get their hands, get away with the single-player campaign, get that out of the way, and then finish with multiplayer only. So I figured I already played the game before, so I'm going to hold off for a second because I wanted to try something new for the channel. And I know we spent lots of money. I'm trying to hold back on spending. That's the reason why I did it. But this week I'm going to get the game. So the game is lots of fun. I want to see if they fix certain glitches that I know of, that I'm going to see if they fix it or not. If not, I'm going to... show it.
Glitches or exploits?
Glitches. You can't have the whole camera spin completely around while the person's still on the side, just so you can see the whole, like, everyone else behind the wall or behind the surface.
Mhm.
And if they didn't fix that still, then Beastly, I might just take your name because I feel like I'm gonna get Beastly scores. Just saying.
Beasley, I was watching your video this week. I can't remember what the video was about, but the first thing you did say is, I'm playing Last of Us Remastered on the PlayStation 4, and I am the premier player. I had to listen to that part about 3 times. Did he just say he's the best Last of Us player?
No, let me be clear. I said I think I'm going to be one of the premier Last of Us multiplayer players. There's a guy that I watch on YouTube who's extremely good at The Last of Us multiplayer, and my goal is to become better than him. Epic, you know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I love the game. I love the fact that you have to put so much into it. You got to really use your brain in order to beat people. It's not just running around shooting people, throwing bombs. You got to pick your shots. You got to pick the moments to push forward, and you got to know when to retreat. It's just so much to it. And I think the fact that I'm actually, becoming good at the game is saying a little bit about my mental prowess.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What I noticed, like the same footage from watching everyone play, is everyone seems like the aiming is still off for them because they're so used to it, like 30 frames per second. So like now that it's 60, they're trying to be like they're too far ahead of the shot because they think like 30 frames they turn differently, but now you're turning so quickly with 60 frames. Like it's just funny to see people play from 30 to 60 because like they're shocked. But like PC games like is 60 frames usually. That's what people try to get 60 frames. That's why people always say 60 frames is better. And it's just funny to see like a game like this where it literally goes from 30 to 60, so you get to see the difference and why you see it's important. Because especially like this, third person and stuff like that, shooter style, like always feels more comfortable 60 frames because the movement is always awkward with third person as compared to first person. So like 60 frame makes a whole difference. I can't wait for Uncharted to be 60 frames per second. That's my thing. And once Uncharted multiplayer gets to 60 frames per second, that's gonna be freaking amazing because that's a quick pace. That's the complete opposite of Last of Us. Last of Us is slow pace, everyone taking their time. Uncharted is quick, so that's why it's gonna be even quicker with 60 frames. So.
I've never played Uncharted multiplayer before. Is it on the level? Is it up there as far as multiplayer experiences go?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like it's good. It's the only thing that I think Uncharted 2 was better than Uncharted 3 multiplayer, but that's my opinion. It seemed more balanced, but it's fun. But it's really, really fast paced, and it's gonna get even more fast paced once it's 60 frames. So.
The biggest thing with Uncharted is a lot of people that loved SOCOM left SOCOM to play Uncharted because it's a third-person shooter. Like a lot of the dudes I used to play SOCOM Confrontation, SOCOM 2 with, like back in the day, they all went to Uncharted and they love it.
I feel it's like SOCOM though, not if I feel like the movement's similar to it.
They have an actual cover system instead of like Last of Us where it's like you lean up against something, then you're in cover, and then you're out of cover,
Yeah.
I've been making a mistake over the last few years, and it's over now, but I want to tell anybody out there, especially younger gamers or people who are really into narrative-driven games like The Last of Us or Uncharted. When these games came out initially, I was really focused on the single-player aspect of it, the character development, and the narrative-driven game. And when it came around to the end of the game, I didn't want to delve into the multiplayer just for the simple fact that I thought that if the multiplayer was mediocre, it would sully the game in my mind. Well, sully, right? Segue. But that's something that I'm never going to do again because The Last of Us blew my mind with the multiplayer. You guys know when I told you guys I first started playing it, now I want to go and try out the Uncharted multiplayer. If there's a really good game out there, a really good story-driven, narrative-based game, play the multiplayer if you can. Don't sit back and wait because I feel like the idiot who came to the party after everybody was asleep on the couch with a keg in his hand.
Beasley, I kind of agree with you. I often don't play the multiplayer for a game that I have, but usually it's been so goddamn bad. I remember playing BioShock. Was it BioShock 2 that introduced multiplayer? And it was goddamn awful. And like, how much time do I want to spend like learning the systems, learning the maps, to a game that really isn't that good? And like, to me, part of the fun of a multiplayer game is putting a lot of time into it and getting good, building my skills. That's why, one of the reasons I enjoy Call of Duty so much is I feel like I'm constantly getting better at that game. Destiny, I felt the same way with, even though it runs at 30 frames per second, I was having a great time in the Destiny Crucible environment. So, part of that is, I can see myself spending a lot of time here, but I can't do that with every game that comes out. There's no way. You're talking about tens or hundreds of hours.
Yeah, I see myself easily giving that time to The Last of Us multiplayer. I probably put tens of hours into the PS3 version.
Yeah.
And now that the PS4 version is available, I see meat on that. I see a tail that'll easily go into next year. Even with the new games coming out at the end of the year, that it's just so much to it. I think that as far as multiplayer games go, it's really hard to beat the kind of experience you get with The Last of Us. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, try it and then you will understand. I think Unreal finally understood when we were playing, and I kept hearing them say, all the way from Canada, this is amazing. This is amazing. Because there's so much that you have to do, you've got to learn, and the skill sets that you learn in this game you hold on to, and you do gradually become better. That's why I can't wait for you, BriarRabbit, to try the multiplayer experience, because you're really good with hand-eye coordination. Anybody who watches your Call of Duty footage knows that, and I think it'll transfer probably pretty well to this once you get the fundamentals of the controls down. I think you're going to love it.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in with you guys.
I'll be on after PC
sometime this week.
Don't give up on the game early too, because it does have a wicked learning curve, like to get used to everything. Because I notice a lot of people are like, "Oh, I hate it." No, like play enough of it to hate it at least, because you're gonna get used to it. You're gonna get used to crafting and the way the movement is and all the abilities that you have. It takes a little bit.
Yeah.
I think
I'm gonna have to do that.
I think The Last of Us, though, as opposed to Uncharted's the same learning curve, but Uncharted is quick pace. So like Uncharted is hard because like that's like sort of like Call of Duty style where you don't have to work as a team. It's better if you do, but you still could spread out and do your own thing, and you could still control like different areas and do things like that. But The Last of Us requires you to work as a team. So it actually helps you for new people, because as long as you're with other people and know what they're doing, you could actually learn slowly with them, and you stick with the players, and you could actually gradually get better. So I think The Last of Us at least helps you and guides you through getting better and learning what to do. But not Uncharted. Uncharted, you'll see the difference. Like once you hop in Uncharted and you've never played Uncharted before, you're like, what? How did I just die in 3 shots and it's taken forever for me to kill these people? And you realize that headshots are a must in Uncharted. Even if you're going full speed and turning the corner, you have to know how to hit headshots. Otherwise, you're gonna die a lot. So.
And they'll probably be making the Uncharted HD remasters too. What do you guys think about that? I mean, think about it. Naughty Dog made this game a remake, and it's very successful. And Uncharted 4 is coming. They can probably ship it out to a third party and let someone up-res it 1, 2, and 3 for PS4. It would sell like hotcakes.
Haven't we got 1, 2, and 3 for free on Plus already? You know what I'm saying? They gave every single one for free on Plus down the road, you know? So it's like why would I don't know. I get the whole remastered version, but you got to offer me a little bit more than that. Like the game is awesome and I'll buy it cuz I'm a Sony fan. I'll buy it anyway, but at the same time it's like, damn, you got to offer me a little bit more than that. Like not even the DLC. If you released it with all the DLC and all that shit, I probably still would think about it. It would have to be like $39.99 or cheap enough for it to be feasible.
I'd rather just play Last of Us, or I'd rather play Uncharted 4. I'm not real interested in these remastered editions for the most part.
I don't think it's wrong. I mean, I don't.
No, I don't think it's wrong either.
No, I mean, like they keep redoing these games because if you really think about it, they've been doing this forever. I think I talked about this before. Like, you know, you had like Super Mario Brothers 3 and like 1, 2, 3, the Nintendo. All of a sudden. And Super Nintendo, they had Super Mario All-Stars. They had all of them in it. Like they've been doing this for years. That they just bring the same thing and port it over to the new system, just so you can have access to it. Because a lot of people, when there's a new system, majority of people get rid of their old system. It's just the way it is. Or majority of people put it away and they don't touch it. So it's just a way to update your library, and it's a way. It's for new people that just got this console. Because remember, there's gonna be not just people that switch consoles from like the 360 to PlayStation. There's also people that maybe new to gaming, that this might be their first console, PS4 or something like that. So it gives them another library. So I think a lot of people forget that we're not the only target audience. Like, we feel like we are because, we already played that, we did this, but we're not the majority. We're actually the minority. We're not the casual gamers, and those are the people that they try to grab, the casual gamers, because those are the ones that they need besides the hardcore gamers like us. So to me, I don't care. Like, for example, The Last of Us came out, and I didn't get it week one. Like, that's how much I care about it. Like, I'll get it when I have time and the money to get it. Other than that, like, it's not like a huge thing like a must-have. But I understand 9 to 5 gamers. Like, I would love for them to update it more to make it worth it. But that's worth it for me. So I really can't judge if it's worth it for someone else or not. But
my first Uncharted is kind of rough too. If you go back, it's not awesome. It was cool when it came out, but after Uncharted 2, I feel like the first one really doesn't hold up that well.
Another thing to me is it's more of a nostalgia thing to have the actual copy of the game in my collection, With The Last of Us, that's the reason why I bought it. Even though I played it, I didn't play the DLC, which I'm stoked to get to. But the main reason why I bought it is to be like, this game needs to be in my collection along the same lines as the Uncharted if they came out with them.
Yeah, I agree. That's me, the collector in me. I try to get the original ones, not like the HD remix and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm
you
okay
want you want the greatest hits version?
Nah, I gotta stop getting those things. I'm trying to get rid of those the freaking greatest hits ones, man. It screws up. I want the black label. I want the original.
Yeah.
I want to ask Unreal Gamer a question. There's an event in The Last of Us remaster. It happens within the first 10 minutes of the game. It's a very emotional event. Did that choke you up at all, or did you man up and say, "I'll fight through this shit"?
Literally, I was starting to play The Last of Us since the beginning.
He's not gonna say what happened.
I won't say anything. I won't spoil anything. But my jaw was like, just for the whole 10-minute opening scene, then till like the part where like the big event happens. I was blown away. The graphics were just out of this world. I've never seen. It almost looked almost real. Yeah. There's like the little bit of cartoon side of it, but it just blew my mind. I didn't get choked up. I was just in shock. I couldn't close my mouth, kind of thing.
Hey, Beasley, do you think that hit you in a different way because you got kids?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to hit people that have kids in a different manner than somebody who doesn't.
He's free. He's free. He can do whatever he wants.
Goodbye.
Well, no more tax return check, damn it.
Yeah, fuck that. When that happened initially, the first time I saw it, Kate and I were sitting together, and she started crying. And I looked at her, and I'm trying to look like a man. I'm like, and, I tried to play it off. I didn't cry, but it was an emotional experience, and that's something that very seldom really happens in a video game experience. Usually you don't play a game, especially after 10 minutes, feel an emotional attachment or a bond because of how real it's presented to you, that it really matters in the real world. And there's something that Naughty Dog did. I think it was on the 28th, the day before the remastered version came out. They did something called The Last of Us One Night Live. I don't know if any of you guys have had the opportunity to see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it yet, but I heard about it.
You gotta watch that. Everybody needs to watch it. One of my videos, I got it linked.
So they did a live script reading, on stage, and they broadcast it over the internet.
Let me tell you this, man. Troy Baker, that guy has talent coming out of his ass. I mean, when he wipes his ass in the bathroom, it just has talent all over.
It's actually money coming out of his ass, but I mean...
What game isn't he in?
Troy Baker, he voiced the Joker in Batman Arkham Origins. And Mark Hamill did the original, but he sounded just like Mark Hamill in that game. I couldn't believe it, right? And so I'm listening to Joel over the last year, and I'm like, I've heard Troy Baker talk before. He has to be using some kind of technology or voice synthesizer to be speaking and sounding just like Joel, right? He did it on stage, and he didn't use anything, and it was just phenomenal. They didn't show every scene of the game. It was an hour long. They had Gestapo, the gentleman who scored the game, playing some live songs from the soundtrack. They had the opening scene with Joel and his daughter. They had a few of the scenes later on in the game, all the way up until the final scene. But I was blown away that these guys only had one night to practice, and they went on stage and they killed it. And I was just in awe at the skill and the talent of these voice actors. Normally, you see voice actors in a booth just talking, but in this game, everybody who voice acted, they actually had to perform because they were being motion captured at the same time.
They did a musical number too, didn't they?
Yeah, that's on there too. Hey, like I said, man, Troy Baker is an incredibly talented guy. I mean, Nolan North is the man, but after all this stuff I'm seeing now with Troy Baker, you know, Call of Duty, all these different characters. What is it? The one we got, the action game, Infamous Second Son.
He plays the villain in Far Cry too.
Yeah, he's the new little villain in Far Cry. The guy's incredibly talented. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's called The Last of Us One Night Live. After the Beastly Thoughts show, search that and check it out because it's really awesome.
You know, you mentioned something a little earlier saying that it's weird how a game can choke you up, but I've had that experience now kind of a number of times in the last few years. Games are getting better at storytelling, like a lot better. Like they're really bringing it up the game. Like it's almost to me a preferred way of for some stories a preferred way of viewing a story than watching a movie or reading a book. I mean, you get to be interactive, so you really feel a connection to the characters because you are the character. I really feel like they're raising it up a notch.
You want to hear something really bad though? My first experience with this when the game came out was I watched IGN. Okay, the game, it was 2 days before the game came out.
No way, you got spoiled?
2 days before the game come out. They have a live first 15 minutes of the freaking game. So we're all watching this live, and I'm watching, oh, this looks pretty cool, and then that happened. Everyone was like, what the fuck? You see people cursing like crazy, like live, like the comments were pissed off because they didn't, not spoiler alert, they didn't say anything, and they just ruined like the intro. Because they're like, oh, we're going to show the first 15 minutes. Screw that. Like, I was so pissed that right away that's supposed to be something that's supposed to get you, but it didn't get me. I was more pissed than anything else because I saw it, and then when the game came out, I was like, all right, well, I already saw it.
There's plenty more plot twists, though, that hook you in that game, especially toward the end.
But I think they was meant to grab you right in the beginning, so you're like, wow, so you're shocked. And then
that's a pain.
I was pissed, not shocked.
That's terrible.
Have you guys had any other experiences as far as gaming goes where this narrative was so strong that it did cause you to tear up? I remember the first time this ever happened to me, I felt like such a bitch. When Ares died in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, you are a bitch, man. That's terrible.
I don't care. I played hundreds of hours in that game. I don't care.
Oh, that's funny.
In that game, the story was done very well, and the CG for the time was pretty good, but when it happened, I was finished. Have you guys had any other experiences?
Yeah, Randy too, on the Dreamcast, I had an experience like that. I can't even remember the dude's name, but he was like the lion-looking guy. Like, it's been so long. When did that game come out? Like 15 years ago, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. When he died, I was like, oh. And I almost shit my pants when that dog flew out the window in Resident Evil. Is that exactly the same?
Yeah, it's a different kind of experience. That's probably the first game ever that really, really scared me in my entire life.
Oh, yeah.
Resident Evil, when you walked into the mansion, you went to the room on the right, and you're in the corridor, and that dog jumped out, and you don't have a memory stick. It's the worst thing in the world. I swear.
That is a touchstone moment. You can talk to anybody who played that game, and everybody, you remember that dog? Everybody remembers that dog because it scared everybody. That was a great moment. Go ahead, not too nerdy.
For me, it would be that one time Bruce Willis pulled off that oxygen tank from Ben Affleck. Wait, no, that's Armageddon. No, I mean, I don't think so. There's really not a game that, I don't know. There wasn't too many. As of late, I guess they're getting better at storytelling, like, which I guess it ties into the question when the Maddock or whatever, Maddock asked on Twitter. He asked, are there any games you guys think the multiplayer was forced and sucked a bit, like BioShock? My answer to that is, it was this shooter. It was like this first-person shooter game that's story-driven. Now I forgot the name of it. Now I had it. I've done the videos on this before for YouTube. It was all story-driven. You had like choices and stuff like that.
You know what I think was
Bioshock?
tacked on? Dead Space. Dead Space's multiplayer was tacked on bad.
I never checked it out.
It was fucking horrible. It was trash.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
This is one I never tried, but I heard that it was. What about Tomb Raider?
That was
the
tacked
Tomb
on. That was shit.
Yeah. But they're
I
saying
never
that
checked
was.
that one out either.
Yeah, I played the game, beat the game, never played the multiplayer, but usually I'm right. I don't play the multiplayer of a story-driven game that I really like because I feel like it'll worsen the experience, but I guess sometimes you're wrong.
All right, I got it. It's Spec Ops: The Line.
The Line.
Spec Ops: The Line story was such a good story-driven game. The story was good, gameplay was good, but all of a sudden the multiplayer was done by a different company, and that was crap. But to me, that was like a pretty deep story. You know, I mean, that was a really story-driven game. If you guys ever play that, that's definitely a story-driven game. But the multiplayer sucks. So they answered both questions at the same time. That one was like, whoa, like the stuff that kept happening in that story was like crazy. But then also the multiplayer sucked. So like. It was hard.
How about Call of Duty 2? I remember playing and loving the campaign in that, replaying it over and over again. It was a launch title for the Xbox 360, but I checked out the multiplayer, and it was pretty boring. It was pretty lame.
I guess, yeah, the multiplayer, yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I feel like anytime you say Call of Duty, you always think that the multiplayer is going to be good. I think
that really changed with COD 4, though. COD
4,
2,
yeah.
I remember playing it. It was not interesting.
Well, back then Call of Duty was still in the old setting and the way that the original Call of Duties were made. I remember when that game came out and everybody was going crazy, and me, I wanted to be my own man. I was like, I'm not ever going to buy a fucking Call of Duty game ever. And all my buddies were like, man, you got to try Call of Duty. And then COD 4 came out, and they're like, you got to play this game. I was like, no, I will not succumb to the brainwashing of the masses. Don't I feel like a fool now? Because this shit is the world.
That's great.
All right, I want to talk about Rogue Legacy. Has anybody checked out Rogue Legacy besides me? I know 9 to 5. You were thinking about it. You were on the fence, but you didn't yet. You haven't picked it up yet. You have to now that you have a Vita, by the way.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying it's good on the Vita. The only thing that's pretty much stopping me is Shovel Knight. Because I've played Shovel Knight, and Shovel Knight was so good that I think it might hinder that game when I play it.
It's
so
different,
I almost want to wait.
It
seems like more RPG elements than Shovel Knight has.
Yeah.
Which is cool as hell, which I'm all about.
Yeah.
And they said, like, all the dungeon or all the areas are random, right? They're randomly generated, so no one's playing the same
Every
shit.
time you die, the whole world gets randomly generated.
And don't you come back as a descendant?
Yeah, you get to choose who you come back as, so you get, like, 3 choices. All right, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah, do that.
You choose a guy, right? It's a 2D kind of platform, Ghouls and Ghosts kind of thing is the best way to explain it. If you guys have played Ghouls and Ghosts or Castlevania,
actually, I have a question real quick. Is it as hard as Ghouls and Ghosts?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want it then, because I'm going to break some shit.
So anyway, so you pick your guy, and like each guy has, or girl, has different kind of character traits. You could be a barbarian, or a mage, or an assassin, or a ninja. And then each character kind of has different traits. The ninja is fast, but can't take a lot of hits. The barbarian can soak up damage, but can't use magic as much. So stuff like that. But then inside of that class, each character that you can pick has certain traits that are unique to that single character. Like he might have color blindness. So when you get into the castle, the whole castle is black and white.
Black and white.
He might be described as the One, which makes every level look like the Matrix or Tron. So like completely changes the graphics. One guy, he walks on the ceiling instead of on the floor all the time, so it completely upends the game. So there's a bunch of stuff like that. Yep.
Irritable bowel syndrome. The guy walks around just letting off gas.
The time.
Yeah. It's just crazy shit. That's why everybody's talking about this game.
Right, and then so you got all these things. It's like some of them really hurt you. Some of them are actually beneficial. Like some of them might be you're fat, so enemies don't knock you back as far. So each time you pick a character, you're getting a little bit different. And then you go to your castle, and you can pick abilities. You can upgrade the magic. You can upgrade the health. You can upgrade all sorts of different statistics for each character. And then you go and visit the shops. You can buy swords, shields, and stuff like that. But you have to find the blueprints in the game first. And then you actually go into the castle. And the castle, each time you go in, is randomly generated. You can pay to make it the same as it was last time. Like if you're just trying to fight one boss and you think you've got it, you almost have it, so you just want to get back to him as fast as you can do that. But for the most part, it's randomly generated. So you explore and you got to find money so you can buy all these upgrades. And the first time you get into that castle, it's hard. The first couple of enemies will pretty much kill you. But as you upgrade your character, as you get better at the game, your skills actually improve. You get further and further and further, and finally you beat the first boss, and you get to the forest, and you got to beat the second boss in the forest. And all this time, you're building this character, you're leveling him up, you're building all this, your sword's getting better, your helmet's getting better, you have more hit points. You have to pay less money to the guy who takes all your money, all sorts of stuff like that. Until eventually you become a pretty powerful character. You're having a lot of fun. And the cool thing is, the game is available on the PlayStation 4 and the PS Vita. If you buy it one place, you get it in both. So it's cross-buy compatible. It's also cross-play compatible. So whatever progress you make on the PlayStation 4 goes right toward your Vita save, and back and forth. So you never feel like you're redoing anything. You're always constantly moving forward. And it's a lot of fun. It controls really tight. It's a good-looking game. And the music is fun, too.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it anything different from the PC version, or is it the same exact?
No, I played it. I didn't play the PC version, but I played the Mac version,
Okay.
and it's exactly the same.
Yeah, because I remember playing it I think it was last year when it came out, and on the PC version, I wasn't sure if it was different or not when it was the PS4.
Nope, it's exactly the same, but now it's available on the PS Vita. I think that mobile is the ultimate way to play this because it's really a pick up and put down experience. You play a life, you play 3 lives, and then you're done, or you want to keep playing.
All right, cool. Yeah, I remember that. It was pretty challenging, but it was definitely a lot of RPG elements. That was the whole thing of it, that's the whole thing. You were supposed to die. You knew you were gonna die, but your goal is just to collect things anyway. So when the second time around, you just keep adding more and more things. So it's a fun game. It's pretty cool, and it gives retro feel once again. So I like that. Anytime they give tribute to retro games and stuff. So.
Yeah. What's nice though is that it takes that retro feel, but also updates it with a bunch of newer mechanics and kind of melds, similar to what Shovel Knight does, is it melds a bunch of games together into one awesome game. I like that.
So because you have a dude that rips ass and all these other aspects of the game, is the story kind of in a joking manner too?
Yeah,
or is it more serious?
Pretty much. The story's not much to speak of, really. There's there's some story, but it's really not much there.
You don't play it for that. You play it more so for the RPG element and all that.
For the fun. It's the challenge of it and kind of building something. Even when you're upgrading your character, it also is represented by building your manor up. So your castle gets bigger and bigger every time you upgrade your character.
Oh, okay.
What is this game running on PSN right now, BriarRabbit?
I think it's $17, $16.99.
And you definitely recommend it to all PS Vita owners, right?
Oh yeah, it's a perfect game for mobile.
I might have to go ahead and pick that up today.
But it wouldn't work on a cell phone because the control has to be tight. You really need a good controller.
Cell phone gaming, if you don't have a controller, it's all the platforming games, you can try to do all of them, and they all suck.
Yeah. Kind of my similar to my PS Now Mega Man experience.
$16.99.
Anybody check that out? I did a PlayStation Now kind of overview video, and I tried to play Mega Man 10, and there was, I don't know, less than a half a second of lag between my inputs and what I saw on the screen, and it made that game impossible.
I told you, input lag. It's gonna have input lag on with the streaming, but I saw that, I was like, oh man, Mega Man's you're jumping you're hopefully I get used to. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. You gotta be Neo in the Matrix to get through that. You gotta know what's coming before it happens.
Yeah.
But I played a fighting game. I played Dead or Alive 5, and it was fine. I couldn't. There was no perceptible input lag. But with Mega Man, since it's a 2D thing, and it's so timing based.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that there still is a little bit of lag in the fighting games.
There is.
Yeah, I played Resident Evil Dark Side Chronicles, and I did a video on that, giving my impressions too. Do you think that they're going to somehow improve this lag, or do you think that this is pretty much what we're going to get, making games like Mega Man inoperable for gamers? I mean, they have to know that this game, you really can't play it if you have decent internet. They have to know that people are going to have this issue, or do you think they're working on ways to minimize that even more?
I think at best you're going to see what Briar experienced. Like, that's at best, because like you're still going to have to wait for your input. The game can't do anything till it gets your move. It sends it to the computer, and it sends it back to move the image. No matter what, you're going to have some sort of delay. So at best, you're going to have delay. And it's up to everyone's servers. Your internet bandwidth, their servers, all to be working well for it to just be like what BriarRabbit had. Now, I think that it might be able to fix it a little bit, because there's some people that didn't have that much of a problem, but also the people that didn't have that much of a problem were people that played Mega Man before plenty of times. So at the same time, they pretty much knew what's going on. So you could also sort of jump ahead of time. They know what's going on. So a person that's brand new to it, because that was the first time he said he played Mega Man 10. So like that's not going to help someone that's never played a game before, because they're going to be jumping like anyone else that's new to the game, and that little lag is when you notice it, because it's like, oh, you're not reacting to the same thing. That's going to affect you little things, like imagine jumping over a ledge or something. You have to time it and run up the ledge and jump. Like, it's going to screw you up completely. The time.
Yeah, you're just going to run right off and then hit the button.
Yeah, and especially Mega Man's notorious for spikes. So, like, if you're falling down, you have to dodge away from the spikes. So the spikes are insta-kill. And if you're not seeing it, you're delayed by half a second or whatever it is, you're going to die. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I think they can improve it, yes, but it's always going to be a slight delay. I don't see how they're going to get away from that. There's no way they could get away from a slight input delay, because it has to wait for your input for it to do anything.
That's true. With some games, I think it makes less of a difference. You know, I played Dead or Alive 5, and it worked fine. It was imperceptible to me that this was not a local copy, because when I was hitting buttons, I knew what I wanted to happen. I was making a prediction, like I want to hit the punch button 5 times to knock out a combo. You know, so it was different in that way. You know, sure, there's that lag is definitely still there. It's not magically gone, but it made less of a difference. Now, I made a comment, like if you were playing Street Fighter, I think that might have been a little different, because those are instantaneous actions, and I think that's what I saw when I was playing Mega Man 2.
And for some of the moves, it needs to be on point to do like
I think I may have picked the wrong game to play, because it was very awkward playing a rail shooter using the left and right analogs on the PS4 controller.
Yeah.
That was I set myself up there anyway. But from what I was playing, it was really responsive and receptive to my inputs. It didn't seem to have really any lag, so I was happy about that. One thing that I'm concerned about, though, are the prices. I'm kind of concerned, but at the same time, I think Sony's doing pretty good.
I thought they were pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people really complaining. $5 for 4 hours, that's like the worst case scenario. A lot of these games, you might pay $3 for 4 hours, but you can pay $5 for 90 days or $6 for 90 days. That initial buy-in is just to get you to play the game, but if you want it for a week or a month or 3 months, it's vastly improved prices. What do you guys think as far as right now, seeing future subscription services? You think they're going to be closer to GameFly, or you think it'll cost a little bit more?
Not too nerdy's raising his hand.
I'm like, I think right away, get rid of, like, I don't think anyone would have complained. They would have had nothing to complain if you got rid of the first price and the 2-week price. Get rid of that. You have nothing to complain for the 7-day price. You have nothing to complain for a 90-day price for the most part. Sometimes you do, depending if it's a game, but they had, like, rent-to-buy system with this. Then you do that. Then you buy the actual game. If you're close, you pay a little bit more to finish paying off the game. Then that solves the problem. And then you have a subscription base for everyone else. That's it. That's all you have to do. Solution solve, like problem solve. Like you just do 7 days.
Remove the 4 hours and remove the 1 month.
Is 4 hours or 1 month? Is it? I mean, is it
90 days? I think the longest is 90 days.
It's 4 hours, then it's 7 days, then 30 days, then 90 days is how they have it set up.
Yeah, remove the 30-day and remove the
4 hours.
Yeah, because you only get 7 days. Yeah, you get a week or 3 months, and then the 3 months will be rent to buy. Like if you did rent to buy for 3 months, because then you pay a little bit more to keep the game. That's it. Like if they did that and they actually let you download the full game, the end. No one has anything to complain about because you're almost paying retail price. That's it. Because then everyone else, you just do subscription based. Because that's what it is. The 4 hours is pointless because everyone's gonna look at it and say, even if I don't like this game, I might as well pay $2 extra or $3 extra to get it for a week. And if
I realized that after I paid for 4 hours.
Yeah, and if you get it for a week, then you get it for a week. That's as much people say, oh, it's $7. Netflix is $8. No, stop. Like $7 when you rent at a rental store used to always be more expensive than that. That's $1.
That was for like a day or 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah.
You know?
$3, 3 days.
Talk about $1 a day. That is more than fair. If you don't like, I mean, it's a video game. It costs money to stream this. Like, it's $1 a day. You can't really beat that price. I understand the 4 hour is bullcrap. That's stupid. But in reality, that's a sales technique to make you get the next level. That's all it is. It's pushing you to pay the extra couple of dollars.
I actually used the 4 hour rental on both games that I tried, just because I knew I wasn't going to play the games. I was just trying it out. And for me, that was the best way to go. I wanted to try Metal Gear Solid 5, too, to see, because I bet that game would play fine.
Oh.
Yeah, plus you don't have to install anything on your hard drive.
The problems is it's real time. That's something that's also a problem. They have to make it game time. So when you play 4 hours, it should not be 4 hours of your time. It should be 4 hours anytime I turn on the game. Not 4 hours when I play. Because they tested it. Everyone says it's exactly 4 hours when you rent it. It should be.
Oh yeah, that's messed up.
It should be every single time you turn on that game, it deducts time. There should be a counter on it as well. That's it. It should not be
based off only the time though, not in the month aspect of it.
I agree. I agreed with you until today. I did the 4 hour thing yesterday, and I stopped it after a few minutes. When I saw I had 2 hours left, I made sure I stopped the game to see if the time would continue to expire, and it did. Mm-hmm. And Kate was really upset about it. She said, "No, fuck that. We don't want this. If they're going to charge you, and you know, from the moment you start the game and your time runs out." But any other rental service works the same way. You guys remember Blockbuster?
Yeah.
If you rented a game for a day and you didn't watch it, you
have to bring that U-Haul truck. You don't get it for 4 hours of driving. You get it for 4 hours.
That's the day though. Like you can't do that with gaming because everyone does pick up and go. You can't. That's not right. I mean, once it's a month one or 3 month, that's completely different. It's an hour-based one. You can't do that because you're saying that how many people could sit down for exactly 4 hours and play the game? You know what I mean? You're asking people to sit down to play a game for 4 hours straight. And not to mention loading time, all this other stuff. You're asking them to sit down and play the game, which is ridiculous. That's just not. It's not right for a customer to do that because the casual people, which this is aiming towards, because people that are not going to buy brand new releases that they'll rather just rent a game here and there. Those people do not have time to sit down in front of the video game console for 4 hours. And I think that's who their target audience is for this. Because you're asking people on phones, you're going to get people that are playing it on TVs alone, people that don't even have consoles. So that pricing doesn't make sense to me. You know, so.
They don't know any better.
I don't mind the pricing. I don't mind that 4 hour thing. I wouldn't mind if the 4 hour thing was like, you know, $1, 99 cents. You can rent this for 4 hours just to try it out. And then if you want it for longer, it feels a little, it sucks a little bit that if I play it for 4 hours and I say I'd like to play this to the end, then I got to pay another, sum of money for a week or a month or 90 days. But I don't know. I'm not hurt about the pricing. Like, the pricing seems about right to me. It just doesn't seem bad.
The thing that we got to remember, guys, is this is the beta, and Sony's already said that they are going to revise these prices. I was talking to guys, when I was playing Destiny, and they were talking about PlayStation Now and how the prices are going to be ridiculous. This beta, Sony, for the most part recently, has been very open to consumer criticism. And so if enough people sign off saying, hey, look, this 4 hour thing needs to change, they'll probably work with us. But in the meantime, I think that they're going to do the best thing that they can as a company to increase profits and keep gamers happy at the same time. I didn't have really any issue with the PlayStation Now. Last night I thought about the 4 hour deal and I wanted it to sit and wait for me to play. But then I thought about it in the real world. That's not how it works. If you rent something from any company, your rental period starts from the time that you pay your money and they give you your receipt. and it was the same way with PlayStation Now. And they even put a disclaimer up when you read the game saying your time will begin at the moment you successfully start this game. So I knew right then the moment I was going to start this game, my time was going to continue to run out. But I think in the future it'll be better for everybody. I'm just kind of anxious now to see how long this beta is going to run and what they're going to do with the final installment of PlayStation Now. I think it's going to be pretty successful. I think there's a lot of people with PlayStation Vitas, PS3s, and PS4s who don't have a huge video game library and are looking forward to visiting some of the older games, PSN stuff, and even PS4 stuff like Contrast is on there. So
yeah, but I'm not going to be playing games that are going to require fast input. I learned my lesson with Mega Man 2. Not until I get Not Too Nerdy's internet over here.
Yeah, but Beastly, like what you said though, you said like you realize in the real world it's not like that. Now that's the thing they have to start separating the real world from this new thing, technology. This is different from real world. You're not you're now streaming 4 hours, okay? That's it. So you understand, well, we're using their servers for 4 hours. We're using their servers only when we play. So when we're not playing, we're not taking up their room. So why are we getting charged? Why is our clock going down for 4 hours? We're not using the game at the moment. We paid for 4 hours. We get 4 hours of using it because we're not using it between those 4 hours. That's
a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Because we're not. It's one thing if we're using up their servers, they have to say no. We're not really using it. If you're gonna say it saves the memory, saves the game. We're paying for 4 hours, and that's what you should do. Now, there should be a time limit saying that you must finish this game within a couple weeks or a month, or otherwise it erases your data or something. Obviously, I understand that. If they gave you a time limit that, like, you have to finish this 4-hour session a week or 2 weeks, that makes more sense because you're holding someone's data or information. But other than that, like, you're not using their server. I think that's one of the biggest things for people. And it's funny because the one way to fix this problem is by no one downloading 4 hours, but every example on YouTube, everyone tested it, everyone clicked on the 4-hour one. So in their books, they're like, well, we made a lot of money because everyone's clicking on the 4 hours to test it, and they're not realizing that people don't like the 4 hours. A lot of people are complaining about the 4-hour one, but yet everyone's clicking on it to test it instead of paying for the more expensive ones.
I think you know you make a really good point there, Not Too Nerdy, and I think that you are the voice of the people, and you should probably be standing at the front of the line and letting everybody know that this he ain't standing for this shit. Tell them just flat out. But I think they got us all with psychology because I thought about this a little bit later. When you first start PlayStation Now, you look at the first and then you look at the last. So the first is a 4-hour interval. You're looking at a game you probably don't want to spend too much time on. Briar and myself, we just wanted to see how it worked. I saw his video. I was like, wow, I want to see how this actually feels. So I did the same thing. I didn't want to rent Resident Evil for 90 days. I was like, I already got it on the Wii. What is the purpose of doing that? So instead of looking at the 1 week, which is only $1 more than I spent, I looked at the very first box and the last box, and somehow my mind decided to unsee the 2 boxes in the center. And so I clicked the 4-hour, like you said, a lot of people did, and I could have saved. I mean, because PlayStation Network, you have to put your money in $5 increments anyway. So I put
There's plenty of games in there that I'd be happy to rent for longer periods of time, though. Like, I saw Indigo Prophecy on there, Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, those are games that I would rent for probably at least a week.
Samurai Showdown's on there. Samurai Showdown's on there.
I don't think I'd bother with that game. I think the input lag would kill you.
Dude, the funny
thing is, you might be right.
You're
Sonic CD's on there, and it's only $5 for 90 days.
Yeah, you're like I'm the voice of the people, but like I'm more a voice of the cheapskates because seriously, I've been testing this for over a month and a half. I had it on a PS3 and PS4, so I was part of the original beta. And as soon as the payment came, where you actually have to pay the payments, nope, didn't try one game. I tried every game where it showed prices, but it said free everywhere. And I just clicked on it. That's why I was testing all these games, because they were free before. Like, that's when I got the full experience. I tested all this stuff when it was free. I ain't tested when you have to pay for it. Like,
did you play through any games fully with it?
I could not. I'll tell you one game that really, now that I can talk about, Sniper Elite pissed me off. The Sniper Elite version 2, no, version 1. No, it was version 2. Pissed me off, dude. It was such a laggy mess. It got me so upset. Like, it was horrible. what didn't make sense was the fighting game Skullgirls. Skullgirls was on point, like it was barely any lag,
Really?
and I was doing the combos I normally do with Skullgirls, stuff like that, and I was doing great. And I literally have Skullgirls on my PS3, and I was playing it on the PS3, streaming it from the service. So then I went back and forth playing the real game and that to test it to see how it worked, and like it was, I mean, it's a slight difference, but you could tell that's, like I said, like the input lag, but it wasn't as much as your Mega Man game. But I think fighting games, some games, like it's delayed a second. Skullgirls is sort of delayed anyway with the input from when you do input to the game. It's slightly delayed, so I think it works out for the streaming, and it's almost like the same thing. It gives it a little more time. And but it was just weird because the Sniper Elite was a mess, man. I couldn't do anything. Like
I wonder if some games have like priority over other games on the servers, or as far as the internet connection goes.
It's weird because, like, you know, Sniper, like, I'm trying to zoom in on the scope, and, like, it zoomed to left, so I'm like, damn it, so I try to move to right, but like, it's still delayed. When I moved to right, it didn't move yet, so I'm like, all right, and then all of a sudden it jumped all the way here. I'm like, oh my god, I tried to go to the left. I couldn't kill anyone in the game. So I gave up and I ran up with a pistol and started shooting people. In a game that's called Sniper, I started shooting people with a handgun. I'm like, I can't hit you with a sniper gun. Sorry, it's not gonna happen.
Years ago on YouTube, I saw a video of a guy who wanted to explain what lag is. So instead of he was playing Call of Duty, but instead of playing it on his TV, he was using the capture screen to play it. And I imagine that's similar to the experience you had.
You're exactly how it is.
It was so bad, man. Like, and it's funny because, like, when you think you're adjusted, you're not yet because you didn't have time to transfer over the information. Yeah. So it was a mess. Like, I wish I could.
But it was only with the sniper where you had to make those fine pinpoint controls. With the pistol, you were fine, just running and gunning.
It was, the pistol was fine because, like, sniper always has a bigger hitbox. So they have a bigger hitbox. So, like, with a pistol, it gives you more of a hitbox than a sniper itself because it slows up time for a second. So that's why they don't give you a huge hitbox or sniper gun. But it was a mess, man. It did not work whatsoever. And then when I had to go get the tank and this one scene, it was a mess. I wish I could have recorded it, but it was freaking closed beta, so we couldn't do that.
Did any of you guys try out the EA Access thing?
No, I haven't tried that out yet. I mean to.
Yeah, I heard it's amazing. Because you download the whole game, you don't download, like, it's not a streaming service, which is fucking smart.
And it's like Netflix, where you pay for a monthly fee for all the games, right?
Yeah. You get all the games that are out right now, and then you get early access to new release games too.
Not
like
PlayStation 4 because it's not a good value according to Sony.
Yeah. And you get 10% off future EA games too, right?
Yep.
Damn.
I got a question.
I think it's genius.
I got a question to you, 9to5, since you brought that up.
Here you go.
I was just saying, who do you think is the target audience for this? Because if you're
it's casual gamers, because it's all sports games, and all the games they have on that list I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna own the copy of it.
The problem is, they're giving you sports games from the year previous. They're not gonna give you the new ones. That's the crazy.
As soon as the games come out, they're gonna be giving you them on point on the same day that they're released, and you get to play.
Where does it say that?
Everywhere. You get to play Dragon Age Inquisition 5 days before. You get to play FIFA 15 5 days before, Madden 5 days before, and then you're going to get them on the day that they're released as well.
I didn't think that they were actually going to give you new games. From what I understood, is that you're getting games from the EA Vault.
Yeah.
Games from the previous.
Yeah, they're going to keep.
But they're giving you 5 days early access. Yeah, but they're giving you 5 days early access.
Did you find that?
I think if they. It was on their website, I'm pretty sure. Go to eaaccess.com or whatever.
Yeah, because like when I was reading it before, it said that the 5-day early access is sort of like a demo. You get to try it out.
It's like a beta a little bit. You get to try a game 5 days before it's actually released. I didn't think that they were going. Well, from what I read, I didn't get the understanding that they were going to be giving out their newer games. From what I read, it was like the last version or the previous year.
Because the other line says
Battlefield 4, not Hardline. You know,
Don't nobody want Hardline anyway. Even people that play Battlefield don't want that shit.
Yeah, because the problem is they say clearly in the line, they say that, or they'll give you 10% off for the new releases, and then they mention FIFA 15. They mention that's when they give you the 10% off for the new game. That's why that's the problem that I'm having with it. That who's the target audience? Because if you're a sports fan, you want the latest roster. You don't want the 2014 roster, and that's why they're offering FIFA 14, Madden 25, because the new Madden comes out soon. You know what I mean? Like, the new games come out soon. If you look at it, that's what some people think. That's what some people thought. But if you look at the wording, it even says that it's only the games that are in the vault, and like no one knows what games could be in the vault. They didn't specify if a game's taken out of the vault, do you lose access, because the way they worded it is different for PlayStation Plus and Games for Gold. Because
I'm sure that'd be okay to a lot of people if you lose access to the older version to get the newer version. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No one's gonna complain about that shit.
But the thing is, like, that's my question. Like, it was weird, like, because from what I saw, from when I was reading on their site, that's what. Because if what you're saying is true, then that's a great deal. Because I mean, that's what people have been asking for the longest time from them. That instead of getting a new Madden every year, why don't you just update? And that's pretty much what it is. They're just updating the new version. You know, here's 2015, stuff like that. That's perfect for sports fans. But from what it sounds like, it's not like that. That it's going to be just like you get the year previous.
How much is this a month? How much will this be?
It's $29.99 a year.
$30 a year, or $5 per month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And my thing is why would they give you a 5-day demo of the game when if they're not going to switch up their vault? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't you want to play that fucking game, or they're trying to get you to buy it digitally, or I don't know.
They're trying to get you to buy it.
This is how you. This should.
Excuse me, guys, for just a moment. I gotta use the bathroom.
All right.
Okay. This should make you know that they're not giving you free. I mean, the newer versions of their games. They want people to buy those games. If they're making a new game, they want the money for that game. And if you're only paying $30 a year, why would they give you that game now for $30 plus give you all the old games instead of you going out and getting 10% off that game so they can get some money back?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. They definitely won't be giving you the new one.
Yeah, the catch is what you're getting right now with the early access. From what they're saying is you get 10% off. So you'll get 10% off the new game. So if you want, you get to play the older one to try it out to see if you like it, and if you like it, you get the new one for 10% off. And I think that's what they're aiming at. The 10% off and their early access, where you get the game first for 5 days early, which is just a demo of the game. Like, so in essence, you're paying for a demo, I think. That's why I feel like you're paying.
Yeah,
for
to the
demo.
hardcore, that's what you're paying for, because you're paying to play that game that many days earlier.
Yeah.
But 90% of the people are going to buy all of them anyway, or whatever ones they want to play.
Yeah. And what they said is, if you buy the actual game, all your stuff that you played in the early access transfers over. So that's what they're getting at. That if you start playing it, it transfers over, but it's not like you get the new one. And that's what, to me, that was the only catch. I'm like, I don't know who their target audience is, because if you're the sports fan, you want the newest roster. You're not going to get the one from last year. What is the purpose of that? You know what I mean? No one plays the one from previous years. That from what I understand, anytime someone gets Madden or FIFA, they want the current rosters that you want to play, the players that you're used to. Same thing for the UFC game. The UFC game, I think, is the newest one in the vault. I think that would be the...
Yeah. Yep.
That's like the only one. It's like the most recent one in the vault.
Yeah, the new FIFA comes out next month. It's like everyone's already going to be buying that.
The FIFA comes out next month. Madden comes out this month at some time. I don't know when. It's usually in August sometime.
No one cares about Madden.
Yeah. But
that game is trash.
To me, that's the problem. Like,
do you think that Sony was smart in turning down EA's early access program, or access is what they call it, considering that the PS4, PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now?
The problem that I have with it is it seems like both services are catering to casual gamers and not the hardcore, so it's a lose-lose in my eyes. Because EA is catering to casual, the fucking PlayStation Now is casual all the way. Yeah, you have some games on there, but all the hardcore people beat the dog shit out of all those games already. Like tenfold. Why am I going to pay you to rent the game?
Yeah,
I just think that Sony turned it down because they got so much on their plate right now as it is. As you guys can see in the beta of
I think they turned it down because it competes directly with PS Now.
Yeah, it's a conflict of interest. They want to get money in for PlayStation Now. They've already got 122 games on the beta, so I'm thinking when the actual PlayStation Now really comes out, there'll be hundreds of games for people to choose from, and on top of that, PlayStation Plus, you get 72 free games per year. So it's like, why would they even want this service to compete with what they're already doing with the PlayStation brand?
I like EA's model better. I like the Netflix model that they've got. Is they, it's $29.99 for the year, then $5 a month. So basically, it's about $10 a month, $11 a month.
No.
You download the game.
It's either $29 per year or $5 per month. So if you just pay
that's great. That's even better. That's half the price I was just saying then. And you download the game, so you don't have to worry about the input lag that you do on the PlayStation Now.
That's my big thing with it, because there's no latency at all.
Better, I think it's a better service. I mean, yeah, you got to wait to download the game, but I'd rather download the game, have a local copy of it, than play the PlayStation Now version.
Right.
I totally agree with you there, BriarRabbit. I think that downloading the game is much better than streaming. But when you go tit for tat as far as games go, EA just doesn't have enough to offer as far as games go. I'm not the biggest sports fanatic. I'm not huge on Battlefield. And a lot of the games that they have released over the last few years have been broken. So I'd rather stick with, especially now, PlayStation Plus.
Yeah,
I mean,
they also can't do old games, emulated on the server like PS Now can do.
And they can't do online. PlayStation Now can't do online, I don't think. From what I see, there's no online games on there.
And I mean, PlayStation Plus itself, like a great game, Fez, that my homie 9 to 5 beat.
That game was so great. Everyone play that. It comes out it's Tuesday.
Now, it's coming to PlayStation Plus this month, so we all get a chance to play all these great games. I just don't see any other need for any other service like that on PlayStation 3 main systems. It's just so much already to offer, if you ask me.
You ready for my rant, EA rant? Anyone ready?
I'm not ready. Hold on. Let me get ready.
Well, right. What you missed,
I'm ready now.
When you went to the bathroom, what you missed that we were talking about was they're releasing only the year before. So like FIFA 14 stuff, it's always gonna be a year before, because the new releases you're gonna pay full price. You get 10% off if you're part of it. So that right there is not the greatest thing, but the biggest thing to me is this part. It's DRM. Now, they didn't say DRM. People forgot about that, but how the hell are they supposed to know you're part of EA Access? They have to stop. You have to check in with them first and make sure you have EA Access. And if their servers are down, SimCity, then what happens? You can't play the game. And I think people were raging about DRM, especially on the Xbox One side, and now all of a sudden they're celebrating for this. Didn't you guys say in the beginning you didn't want DRM? Didn't you say that you didn't like DRM? How the hell are you rooting for this now if you're an Xbox One fan? It's the thing is the funniest thing to me that now all of a sudden they forgot about DRM, because that's the only way they can find out to make sure that you have EA Access is that you have to check in on Origin every single time.
Another thing that I was wondering is, do you have to have Xbox Live in order to use this service?
No, they already
just buy that service.
They said no if you're playing a single player. If you're playing multiplayer, yes. So they already answered that. Yeah. So at least that's the right thing to do. So
that's cool.
That's awesome. You're not playing multiplayer. You don't have to have Xbox Live. But the thing people are forgetting is the same thing that people wanted the Xbox One to turn on and no DRM. You're gonna have an online check every single time. Every single time they got to do online check to make sure that that you actually are part of EA Access, that you paid your bill, that you didn't cancel your subscription. Otherwise, you don't have access to the vault. That's the biggest thing to me right there that people forget about. The second biggest thing is, if this succeeds, we're screwed, because then the next thing you're going to get is Ubisoft doing it, and then you get every company doing it, and they're going to have to stop to think, which company do I want to do it? No. The people that should be in charge of this should only be the consoles themselves. It's either Microsoft has a system or Sony or Nintendo. You should not let the publishers control this service, because when they control it, they're going to all separate and do their own thing. That's my rant.
That's a good point.
You're damn right, because we'll have 10 different publishers creating this service, and you have to have 3 or 4 new subscriptions every year. And that's gonna fucking suck.
Shit, if you give me some new stuff, I'll do it. If you give me new release shit like the day it comes out, I will do that all day, because it's gonna save me a lot of money in the October month or November, like around that area. I would do every subscription you offer me.
See,
Naughty Dog, make a subscription. I will buy it.
To me, like, that's what I'm talking about. If it was new games, then we're talking about a whole new ballgame. Because, like, now we're talking about games for its release. But the problem is it's a risk for them, because if not enough people sign up for it, then they lose money on the games that they make. And it's sort of like WWE, like their subscription that they have, like they took a huge risk. Like now we're gonna charge people for subscription and not charge for the pay-per-view events. If you get subscription, you get all those pay-per-view events still, And it was up in the air if they're gonna be successful. They're lucky because a lot of people actually picked up the subscription. But the thing is, if not enough people pick up the subscription, you lose money. And I think that's why they don't want to put new games there, because they know that it costs a lot of money to make a game, and you can't afford that. Like, you really can't. You'll make more money if you sell X amount of games, like, individually than you would on a subscription. You're going to have to sell, like, maybe, 5 times, 6 times the amount to earn the subscription base. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I don't think that'll ever happen. I couldn't see a subscription service that offers you the new games with a subscription, especially EA's model, because you're paying $30 a year. A game is going to cost $60 by itself. So if you have 2 people with subscriptions, they're paying per year what it costs to buy one game. So they have to sell these new games. I don't think a subscription service will ever offer you absolutely new games. It just unless you're paying $300 per year for a subscription.
Yeah, and I think the service that offers you the most new games is the PlayStation Plus, because look, you get like Fez, you get all this new shit all the time.
I'm playing that.
And games, and on Tuesday we get games that aren't even released yet. We get 2 brand new games to the actual PlayStation 4. So.
I got a question for PlayStation Now. What do you think is, since we saw EA Early Access, what do you guys think? We'll go around, everyone say a number. What do you think PlayStation Now needs to be for a subscription model to be successful? What's the number, do you think? The magical monthly payment that you're going to have to do for PlayStation Now. We'll start with BriarRabbit, because I know he's thinking of a number. I got it. BriarRabbit.
$10 a month. I think it's a no-brainer.
$10
a month.
Anyone else?
I think it should be 10. I think it should be 10, but you should have PlayStation Plus. Like, if you don't have PlayStation Plus, you should get a deal on that. If you don't, it should be like $20 if you don't, because you're an idiot if you don't. So they should, like, charge you extra for that.
$20 for, like, the combo?
Yeah.
I would pay that.
I was thinking $17.99 per month, but with PlayStation Plus, solid $12, $13 in that range. The reason I came up with that number is because GameFly is $15 a month, and you want to be a little bit under GameFly, but at the same time, it can be slightly above GameFly in the same range, and if you have PlayStation Plus, you can drop it down. So I think if they work hand in hand, I think $12 per month, or maybe another $50 a year. You pay $100 for PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now combined, and you get the best of both worlds. And I think that with having PlayStation Plus should also give you at least 1 or 2 free rentals every month with PlayStation Now.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I don't know, because their prices are pretty outrageous. I mean, their prices are the same. You can buy the game on Steam for half the price of the 4-hour subscription.
Yeah,
so
We don't care how much it is on PC.
Like, most of those games are playable on the PC, and it's not like you need a god computer to play them. You can plug in your controller to the PC. So I don't know about that, but since their prices are kind of high, I can only see something like $22, $23, even with a PlayStation Plus, because 4 hours ranges from like what, $3 to $6, and what's it called? A week is like $9. I don't know. It's just kind of high.
But the prices are different for each game. Some of those games are $5 for 90 days, so it all depends on the game. Games like Dead Island Riptide on there, it's $24.99 for 90 days. You can buy that at a video game retailer for less. Those games like that, I think Sony is definitely going to rectify that issue, because many people are speaking out in social media. They know that people are recognizing, if I want to buy this for 90 days or buy it for life for $5 less. So I think that'll definitely be fixed. But you said 22 or 23 with PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, I can't see them going any lower. I don't know why.
Well, you gotta ask yourself, what are they losing? They got Gaikai, the Gaikai service, and the more people that jump onto this is actually just paying for the maintenance and for them to maintain the service. They're not losing any physical property. They're just streaming, and they're optimizing their streams. So even $15.
I
How
agree,
many
with, I agree with Unreal, by the way, like around that price. Sorry, what do you say?
How big is
No,
their
I'm like,
game library? Oh, sorry.
The voice of the truth, the voice of the people. Speak your piece.
No, I thought really. He said how big is the game library? Isn't it? It's only like about 100 right now, right?
122 games.
100, yeah. So there's a couple problems though. The number one problem, the reason, do you know why they're doing rent, right? Why they're letting people rent? It's a rental service. Is because you need a license, all right? The license, and sometimes when you run out of the license, that company can opt out. They're no longer there. So you have to do rental service because if that company opts out, that game disappears. If you do to buy, the person can't keep the game every single time because that game may never be there, and it's Sony avoiding like getting in trouble later on by the consumer because that game might not be there once it's out. Netflix does the same exact thing. There might be movies in their vault, and then a movie disappears forever because they lose a license for it. And that's the way it works. Licensing costs a lot of money, especially for games. So you're going to have to get licensed for each of these games. They're going to have to pay for the servers for each of these games. So that's going to cost money. So right away, you're not going to see Netflix price. You're going to see twice that right away, at least twice that. And I'm thinking that it's going to be somewhere around, I think it's going to be $20. I think they'll be more successful if it's $15 a month, but I think it'll be, realistically, it's going to be like $20 a month. And I think that's what it is. If you look at their 90-day purchases, a lot of them are between $15 to $30. I think $20 will be their goal to say, well, you either pay this price or you could pay this price a month and you get subscription rates. And I think that's realistically what they're going to have to do because they're going to have to pay for the license. And that's like a huge thing. License is so hard because a lot of these games are not their games. That's not just their games. It's other companies and stuff like that. They have to get the rights to it. And that licensing is going to be really tough for them to do. And that's a reason why it's a rental service, and it's different from other places that it's a rental service because you're just renting it. Eventually that game's going to disappear and it's not going to be in that vault, per se. And that's the difference between EA Access and what Sony's doing. EA owns all these games. They own the rights to that. EA will never put someone else's stuff. That's why they control when they put something in and when they take it out. Sony doesn't have the option to do that. I mean, they negotiate terms and that's it. And like now they have to go around for each company and negotiate. Well, we'll do 50-50 or you take 60-40, whatever it is, and say that's how it's gonna work for subscription base. So if it's too low, you got to keep in mind they have to divide this between every company. So
they only got 150 games at this point.
At this point, but they still got. Supposedly, they're still working on PS1 and PS2 games. So
have they even said that they're gonna do a subscription? I know they've said they've thought about doing a subscription service.
They announced that they're now trying to come up with a price, and what that pretty much means is they're trying to negotiate prices to see what's realistically they can handle with subscription because of license.
So of all the licenses, which one would you like to see them get? I'm not talking about individual games. I'm talking about like making deals with like big companies. Activision?
I think Activision, not just your Call of Duty, but like your other services that Activision owns a lot of different games and stuff like that. I think Activision is the publisher that you would want to negotiate. EA is obviously out of the question now.
But I don't think Call of Duty would work on PlayStation now.
No,
a single player would.
No, Activision owns a lot more than Call of Duty.
They own Blizzard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you could get like Diablo up in there, like a whole bunch of different things like.
That worked great, yeah.
I'm actually kind of excited for the PlayStation 4 version of Diablo coming up soon.
Yeah, what happened to that? Like they kept like delaying it.
They got enemies from The Last of Us on it too.
Yeah.
Bloaters and clickers.
That's what I think is going to make that service die or strive is the library. Depending on the games you bring, because I looked through this weekend and I was like, oh, I should try this, and then I looked through, I was like, you don't have a damn game I would like to play right now, other than Metal Gear, and I beat that game like 6 times. I'm good. I don't need any other game.
I had a similar experience.
I'm just like I'm done with all this shit that you offer me.
The games are easy to get though. They're just let people test the service. So like, they just spread it out to test like There's so many random games in there. You could like start with a shooter into another. They just did that to spread it out just so you can see it. But the games will be easy. It's a license to keep the games for that long is what I'm interested to see. Like because Netflix usually keeps their movies for a pretty good amount of time, and then you don't notice it sometimes when a movie disappears or whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be like you'll see like a whole row of games just disappear one day. Like what the hell just happened?
And it would be the game that you gotta save for. That's like at the end of the game. Like, what the fuck?
You can also move your saves.
So,
you can also put your saves locally on your PlayStation, which is nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
I would like to see him get Sega. I think that'd be awesome to have everything from the 8-bit up till today. Have all those Sega games on there. I think that'd be awesome.
I mean, Sonic's a little too fast. I don't know if it'll work for Sonic.
I just want Shocking the Forever Man.
Give me Toe Jam and Earl.
Yeah, I'll take some Toe Jam and Earl.
So, what do you guys think?
Shenmue? I know Beastly wants Shenmue.
Yeah, as long as they update the controls. What do you guys think is probably realistic annual? Maybe $100 per year? Like if you paid $100 per year on top of your $49.
Saying $240. I think I would.
Oh no! Well, they can't do that.
No,
you know, if you pay for 1 month of PlayStation Plus, it's $10. But if you pay for 3 months, it's $18.
Well, first of all, I think automatically they're going to throw in if you get there, automatically PlayStation Plus can be free. Without a doubt.
So that adds value.
So
value.
I also think that if I'm saying like $15 a month, it's going to be like $15 a month or $200 up front. They're going to discount it, so it'll be like $240 for the year, but then you do $200 up front with PlayStation Plus. So like something like that will add value, but that's how they're going to hook you. They're not going to just say $15 a month and make it the same as that price because they want an incentive for you to pay up front rather than pay monthly the same price, you know?
There is not a teenager in the world who has given them $200 for that.
Yep, absolutely true.
It's just the way it is. So.
The highest is going to be if they want real commercial success with PlayStation Now on the annual. Now, that's a good number. I think it's a pretty decent, pretty decent amount of money. And I know that kids in the world are not going to be able to steal enough money to get $200 to get the PlayStation Now. They'd go out and they'd buy 2 games and put the other one in, under their pillow.
I mean, that's just the way it is, though. Realistically, you can't. What is Sony supposed to lose money on this service? Because less than that, like they can't. Like realistically, that's the way it is. It's not. It's an option. It's not forcing you to get it. But like rather, that's why they have the other option of you renting. So like they're gonna give you options. If you don't like renting, you could get the subscription. But they have to do that because I don't see them doing that. And like I might even be more than that. Like I honestly think $20 is more than fair a month if you're getting it, because renting for GameFly and stuff like that, if you're talking about all the games in the subscription, you have access to any of the games at any time. Like that takes some money. $20 is more than fair because you're talking about for GameFly it's $21 a month for 2 games at a time. You're not taking 2 games at a time. You're taking way more than 2 games at a time, and for $20, regardless of it's streaming or not. So I think you have to look at it like that. I know if you look at it in the year, you're like, damn.
The thing is, Sony has been losing a lot of money. They've just been losing money. They're dripping. They're dying right now in other areas as far as the company sits. If you think about it like this, PlayStation Plus is $10 a month for the first month. Now, if you pay $10 a month for 12 months, it's $120. But if you pay for it up front, you're only paying $50 per year. So that's just over 50% off. So if you're looking at it that way, and you say $20 per month, if you knock off over 50% of that, what do you got? They're probably going to go.
Not every service does that, though, Beastly. I mean, I don't think Netflix does that, do they? Do they offer a year plan that you can pay?
No, Netflix doesn't.
I mean, some things just cost what they cost, and it doesn't matter. And I like that I get a deal on Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus too. But I mean, if I'm getting a lot of value, I expect to pay for it.
Yeah, because
does that mean you guys don't think they're going to do an annual subscription?
I think it'd be stupid to put that price out there. $250.
It's going to scare a lot of people.
I don't think that's going to be.
I think they're going to have to because they have to do it. The only way to get away with that is by saying PlayStation Plus is free with it.
I think they're better off saying $25 a month. You get PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus, both, and they never say anything about $240, $300 a month. or $240, $300 a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You
I
just
think that'll turn off a lot of consumers.
Netflix never tells you how much they cost a year. They just say
Yeah,
$12 a month. You know,
Yeah.
$12 a month.
It's 80. Wait, how much is Netflix now? It's $8 or they moved up to $9 now, right?
I pay 8.
Yeah, it's 8 is $96, right?
Yeah.
For the whole year, or it's $7, $106 for if you do it now. I guess because I think they moved it up a
the
dollar.
price, for new
So,
customers.
You know what I mean? Like, everything costs money. Like, you get a gym membership, it does the same thing. Like, it's just the way it is. Like, people don't realize it because they're paying monthly, but it's the same thing. And, like, it's for value of it, you know? Like,
that's a lot of value, getting all those games.
And I think that's their way around it, too, by giving you get PlayStation Plus for free. I think that's the huge advantage for them, that they could just say you get PlayStation Plus for free because you're already
$25. I would bite on that.
But the thing is, though, announcing an absorbent annual cost would turn off gamers. I mean, we're hardcore gamers, and everybody knows that. But for the casual gamer, if you hear Sony come out and do an ad on TV and say you get all this stuff for $200 a year or $250 a year, that's a huge commitment. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. A lot of people have to save up for 3 months just to buy a $50 or $60 game. So I mean, I think that if they announce an annual price for the PlayStation Now, it'll be probably closer to the $100 mark. I
don't think they'll do that though, BC. They'll just say it's going to cost $25 a month.
It
They're never going to say
debate, son.
They're never going to say it costs $200 a month or a year because everybody's going to be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. You know, like, seriously, Tony just was happy to announce that they made a whole bunch of money for once, right? This quarter, they made money from PlayStation Now, from a service that you pay for. And now they're gonna say, well, now we're pretty much gonna give this service for free. It's like you gotta think about it this way. They gotta keep their lights on. Like, how the hell can you charge someone $100 for the year when you gotta
pay for that TV division?
You guys don't understand how many servers a computer you're going to need to run this. It's not like your servers for day one for a video game. It's bigger and more than those. Like, this is bad. You're talking about not only everyone playing at the same time. You're talking about it has to save your memory, your data on the servers. It has to do so much stuff, like back and forth, remembering who you are, saving data, picking up where you left off on the servers. That puts so much stress on the servers, and it's going to cost money. It really is. Like, I don't even know, even if they pay $20, if you even pay $20 a month, I think that might just make them break even, if that, like, depending on how many people do it. So, like, I don't know, because what do you say?
They've got to find a sweet spot. I mean, and that's the thing. So if you guys don't think that the $100 is realistic, my guess is they don't announce an annual price and they do stick with a monthly model, because I think if they announce a really high absorbent annual cost, it'll turn consumers off. And the thing is, a failure is a failure, so they're going to do whatever they can to make people, they're going to make this service, feasible for people to go and get it. They're going to make it something that appears easy for us all to have access to. They got millions of PS4 owners now, and PlayStation 3 owners and Vita owners. They're going to make this thing as easy for us to adopt it into our ecosystem of gaming as possible. And I think they're going to try to meet us somewhere in a comfortable place. And they might even take a hit for a while. But after sometimes it takes years for Sony to catch up. They took a loss on the PS3 until finally at the end that there were more PS3s in circulation than Xbox 360s, and they were seeing profits. So they did that so people could, they took a hit. They were losing money every time one of those consoles was sold.
Basically, all they have to do is just not mention the yearly cost. When a press guy comes to them and says, so this is going to cost $250 a year, they say, no, it costs $25 a month.
Yeah.
Like, that's all they got to do is they direct the message to the monthly cost, which doesn't seem as high, even though you and I both know, if we think about it rationally, it's the same price.
It's just sales technique. But Brian, here's something that's great though. So basically, like, you're saying $25, $30 a month is too much?
I'm saying that if Sony wants to be successful with the PlayStation Now, in the meantime, maybe down the road it'll change, but in the meantime, that's going to be something that a lot of PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Network adopters are going to have an issue with starting off, because we're used to. We're used to $10 a month,
You're
$18
used to getting
for
everything
3
for
months.
free from PlayStation.
Well, how's it? How good does $30 a month look when you have to pay $30 to rent a game for 90 days? So that's part of the reason why I think they threw these prices out for rentals first, because now these prices for monthly payments are going to look 10 times better than any of the payments that you see in there. So that's the thing. Like, that's part of a sales technique too. You throw out the 90 days, you're paying $15 for some, or the next model is $30 for it. And you say, well, if you pay $20 a month for a subscription, you bypass all that stuff. Like,
The thing is with
You know what I mean?
PlayStation Now, what I think Sony is doing is casting out, and they're seeing who bites. Now, just based on my gaming knowledge, I would say that a majority of people are going to go for the 1 week rental for any of the games that are available now, which gives Sony an idea of which price point people are usually more apt to gravitate towards. And so with that information at the end of this beta, they're going to make a choice on whether or not the 90-day model is even feasible. Now, if you do think of it the way you just said it, yeah, $30 does look good per month for a plethora of games versus one game. But the thing is, how many people are renting that 90-day rental right now? Probably very few. Or a person who wants to play Metal Gear Solid 4 who never had a chance to play it. But when you have a subscription model that has access to all their games, people are probably going to pay for that a lot quicker than they would a 30-day rental from.
You have to find a good balance, though. The problem is with a lot of these games is it's a game. It's not Netflix. And people have to stop comparing to Netflix because it's a game. And a game, the difference is, like, how many people keep, like, literally, the majority of people do not keep their games after they beat it.
Yeah.
You have 90 days to beat a game that won't even take you 90 days. They might play it twice in those 90 days. They'll never look at that game again. Majority of them. People aren't collectors like me. They don't collect the game just to have display-wise. They get rid of it. So, like, you have to find a value for this. And my letting you play the game for $5, $10, like people say, oh, like, it's cheaper than buying the game. But, like, that's fair. That's not fair because you're playing the full game, the full retail game that's licensed by someone. You're playing the full game. You're beating the game. You get to enjoy the full game, like, if you did own it. And then you get to get rid of it never again. Like, to me, that's, like, you have to find a good balance. It's not like Netflix. Like, I know.
Well, the Netflix comparison comes just by the delivery
stream,
model.
yeah.
That's what
The model.
we're dreaming. You know, is that I'll be able to pay a monthly fee and get access to, you know, any game I want to play. That's where the Netflix comparison, not necessarily pricing, although it'd be awesome if they did hit that pricing.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying the price model. They want it to be like one low subscription base. Like, it can't do that. It's just a license to me. Like, I don't see how they're gonna get around that license. That's why they made it rentals, and like people didn't really realize that that's the only reason why it's rentals. You can't rent to buy because of that reason. It's because of that. So like, we'll see what they do if they find a model to rent to buy that they actually let you download a full game and become close to, you pay the difference or something. That would be cool. But besides that, I don't know what else they could do.
They could do something with, you know, it doesn't have to be that every game has the exact same policy too. You know, maybe, you know, Sony published games have a different policy than EA published games or Activision published games or Sega. Get Sega on there. That'd be awesome. Check in the Forever Man.
I mean,
okay, guys, I know you guys are really passionate about this, but we got one more story that we really got to get to tonight.
Go ahead.
Beastly, do you want to intro this, the GameStop stuff? Because you did a really good video on it. You explained it pretty well.
I'm trying to remember the exact location. Is it Pennsylvania? I'm pretty sure it's.
It was Philadelphia.
I knew it was one of those P's. A GameStop store in Philadelphia has been thumbprinting customers that come in and trade in video games and consoles, and there's been a big uproar about this because they're actually doing this in an initiative to help police find criminals.
But they did it at the request of the police, right?
Yeah, they did it at the request of the police and some kind of city ordinance that they could comply with. But according to, I forget exactly who she was, a state attorney, they do not have to do this. So they actually agreed to do it. And they've been thumbprinting people, bringing in your Xboxes and PlayStations to see if you actually own it or if you have a criminal background, and reporting this to online police database.
Not just that, but they keep everybody's, right? And everybody who trades in their thumbprint gets kept and then given to the government or given to the police and added to the database.
The damn Illuminati have even infiltrated my beloved video games.
This is ridiculous. This is like, if anybody's still going to that store,
I think everybody should stop. I saw the picture of the front of the GameStop. Everybody was outside. I'd be extremely upset. I'm one of the people, I know you guys see me gaming, but I'm really into liberty. And I think, giving up liberty for security, like the great men say, you deserve neither. We're free people. And to be illegally searched or unreasonably searched for seized, I think that's what that is. And I know a lot of people out there are saying, I talked to a girl today who messaged me on Google+. She said, I think they should just do background checks on people.
Does Kate know about this?
Yeah, she knows. She said, I think we should just do background checks on people who are bringing in these games because she said when I was in college, me and my boyfriend, now he's my husband, our dorm got broken into and all our game collection got stolen. And I told her I've had things stolen from me before too, but you don't want to violate the rights of people who have not committed a crime. You don't want to, criminals are going to be criminals no matter what, but if you start imposing restrictions on people who haven't done anything wrong, that's when we lose what supposedly makes America great, free people. If you gotta, feel like you're in Germany and you gotta have your sticker when you walk into GameStop, and they ask you for your papers, where the hell are we? But the thing is, if we consistently let these overreaches happen, it's a slippery slope to a really bad place. And I think it's happening in all facets of life right now, not just video games. But this, to me, I couldn't believe this is actually happening, and people were actually allowing this to take place. If I walked into a GameStop and they said, I'm going to fingerprint you, I'd take my shit to a pawn shop.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
I'm not a criminal.
I agree.
What are you guys' thoughts on it?
I agree with you on the whole point of it, but it's like I'm on the line with it because my house got broken into last year, and I got all my shit stolen, like 40-some games for 2 consoles. I had like every Wii U game at the time, my Wii U, my PS3, my Xbox, all that shit. Yeah, I had like all the Wii U games at the time, but and 2 controllers for each system, all my hookups, my monitor, all my shit got stolen, everything, and it's like. On that aspect, it's like I wish they would have caught whoever the fuck did it. But on the other aspect, it's like, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna gripe on the whole world just because of one stupid ass.
I'll use this as a synopsis. Okay, it's a similar thing with the whole gun rights thing. Over the last couple of years, we've been slowly trying to eviscerate the Second Amendment. Well, there have been agencies that have been wanting to restrict types of guns, types of magazines, and basically. Retract certain types of fully automatic or semi-automatic weapons from people who legally own them. If you restrict people who haven't broken the law, the criminals are still going to be out there. The criminals are not going to abide by the laws. They're still going to have their guns. They're still going to get them illegally, and basically all you're doing is hurting the people who have not broken any laws. If a person goes in a GameStop and you're not a criminal, suddenly you feel like one if you have to be fingerprinted to trade in your own game. And I think that right there is an overreach. If you haven't done anything wrong, you shouldn't have to go through that. You shouldn't have to be demeaned like a criminal, like you're inside of a police station. And that's what, to me, makes America America.
The thing that bothers me the most is that this is GameStop's policy, that they decided to make a policy where they're going to start fingerprinting people, basically accusing me of a crime before that I haven't committed. That's how I see that. And, to me, it's unbelievably bad policy. I can't believe that GameStop corporate let this happen. I don't know. Is this GameStop corporate, or was this a district manager that instituted this policy, or a store manager? But because it is god awful. Like, it is terrible.
Further research.
Yeah, go ahead.
Further research. I talked about this in my vlog, which will be going up today. No, I know, I'm just throwing it out there. Anyway, the point is, I found out more about this. Like, GameStop in India has been doing this for a long time. They've been doing it since they opened. So this is not the first place has done it. And that's why
the country.
Yeah, that they're reporting about this now, but other countries have been doing this before that. This is maybe like in the U.S. now they announce it, but they've been doing it. Now my feeling on this is, first of all, I don't think it's right in a way, but the second thing is they're dealing with trade-ins. They're dealing with games that they don't ask you where you get the game from. They get your license, but they don't ask you where it's from. Now, here's the problem with that. Here's another example. If you go to a bank right now, and say if you got a check from someone and it says, I use the example in my vlog, like Bank of America, and you go cash a check at Bank of America, they ask you for your fingerprint, your license, and everything. The reason why they do this is because they don't know you. You've never been there before. You're not a member there. They want to make sure that in case anything happens, your identity is there. Where do you think that fingerprint information goes to? That's the same exact situation here. You're getting trade-ins and stuff like that from games. I know it's kids. I know it's other people, but that's the way it is. They have the right to do that, and your rights are not broken.
Not too dirty. I've never been fingerprinted.
You get fingerprinted if you go to a Bank of America, stuff like that. If you go there, you get fingerprinted if you're cashing a check and you're not part of that bank.
That's never happened to me before. That's
yeah,
like a stop.
When I was in Arizona, we were cashing all our wedding money at a Bank of America, and they didn't do that to us.
That's way for it's changed. I know they do that in New York, they do it in New Jersey, they do that all here. They do fingerprints. It's actually leave the ink pad right there next to you. You do a fingerprint to do that.
Okay.
I'm doing a little bit of research on the Bank of America's in New Jersey. That's the Gestapo branch. That's how you say it, right?
Gestapo, New Jersey.
Yeah, the Gestapo branch of Bank of America. I've never been fingerprinted cashing a check.
It's all like that in New Jersey and New York. It makes sense if you think about it. They do that because they have no proof of who you are. Because you could actually just pretend with a fake ID that you're dealing with money here. You're dealing with transactions.
Usually that's all the bank will ask me for. I've cashed checks at banks I wasn't a member of, and all they ask me for is my identification.
But if you see more and more people are doing that because of that reason. They don't know who you are. They can't verify. If you have a criminal record or something like that, and you're stealing something from someone, obviously you think that you don't have. It's not fair. It's not. It's against your rights. But you also have the right to not go there. And that's the thing. That's the thing. People are upset with it. They don't go to GameStop, and I totally agree why someone's upset with it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like both ways. GameStop's doing this for a reason because they have to verify the trading. They have to verify where the games are. And I'm gonna say this I'm a friend. I'm not gonna say obviously my friend's name and stuff like that. But my friend, one of my friends recovering from taking drugs. They had a drug problem, right? And seriously, they had a drug problem, stuff like that. And they told me that in the past, they literally used to steal games from games. Is this
one of those my friend stories where
No, it's not. Seriously, one of my friends, I'm not going to say the name, but they literally had a really, really drug problem. And they used to steal from GameStop and then resell the games at GameStop, to retrade in the same games that they stole from GameStop to get money, or they'll go around and trade and sell the games. And that's the real thing because games are worth a lot of money. They treat it as money. Same thing with consoles. You're using money, and that's the thing. You go there and you just sign your name and that's it. You can sign anything you want. You show your ID sometimes. Sometimes they don't even do ID anymore, and you just sign your name away and that's it. That's it. I literally I went to GameStop and their policy is they don't accept games that are still sealed. I had a brand new game that I never played. They said they don't accept it. I went outside the store, opened it, came back, and they accepted it. When he just saw me have a sealed game, he knew I walked outside, opened it, and he still accepted it for trading. That's just their policy, and that's the way it is. So, that's why I'm in the middle.
Do you guys feel that if they put thumbprint scanners at every store in all GameStops instead of just in Philly, do you think everybody would have had a gripe about it?
Hell yeah.
You think so?
Hell yeah. This is America,
I think it would have been a less gripe though.
That's what I think.
It's it's only in one spot. Why don't you put them in all of them?
This is not the first time it's like this, though. This is not the only place you do that, too.
This is probably the first time that we've heard about it on a grand scale in America, but the thing is this, and it goes beyond video games, and you guys sound off in the comment section below. We have gradually been accepting more and more, infringing on our liberties and infringing on our rights as Americans, and the Constitution is there for a reason. And if we let every little thing just bypass our constitutional rights, as little as it may seem, the more we allow this to happen, the bigger these infringements will be. If we see something that goes against our constitutional rights, we as the people, have to speak up and say no. I'm not going to accept it.
I agree in that sense.
I'm not going to take this. Because we're gradually taking things piece by piece, little by little, and that's how you change the mindset of the masses. You do something real small. Oh, that's not that big of a deal. Oh, they took that. Let's do something a little bit bigger than that. And it becomes the norm. We have to stand up and say, hey, look, the hell with this. I'm an American. I have constitutional rights that were afforded to me, and you're not going to infringe on my rights. And I don't play about my rights. I'm real serious about them. You can ask any officer that stopped me and asked me for my ID without any justification. I can peace of my fucking mind. And I tell them, hey, look, have I broken any laws? You're like, no. I said, well, do you have any reason for stopping me? Well, sir, we're just doing a random. Well, sir, I'm an American citizen, and I value my privacy. And am I being detained? I say, no. Well, thank you. Am I free to go? You go on about your business. This is America. You don't take that kind of shit. I'm sorry, but I'm just telling it like it is.
You were in the suburbs, weren't you?
Yeah. The funny thing is, obviously, I commented about this on your channel. Like, the government gets access to anything. Like, if you think this is gonna stop them, they probably have your fingerprints already. You don't even know. Just saying right now, they probably got your information, and you think they don't. They already do. And if you think that your medical records,
sure they do.
But medical records are private too. No government's supposed to get access to that.
Just giving up and accepting it doesn't help the problem.
It's not accepting it. But that's the thing, though. My point is, you don't have to buy there either. Like, that's how you do it.
That's exactly. That's
what I'm saying.
The
that's
point.
how you protest.
I won't be.
Yeah, if you don't like it, just don't buy it. Like, that's just the way it is right now. Or you just buy a location doesn't do it. Like, that's how you protest it. But at the same time, like, you have to understand, like, the government's going to get access to your stuff anyway. And I'll tell you right now, like, medical information is supposed to be personal. But the government, if there's something wrong, they're investigating you, they're going to look into your medical records. They're going to show all that stuff. And that's supposed to be personal. But no one argues about that, about the government doing that part. Like, there's so many things that I feel like some issues people, like, protest about, but other issues they don't. And, like, this is just one of those issues that you hear at a game store at, like, a certain area that people seem to say that it's a bad area, so they're like, oh, well, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, but in reality, like, if it was in a different area, would people question? That's my thing. Like, what 9to5 said, if this happened, like, all different areas and not just that area, I don't think it would have been as big of a deal. That's just my opinion because of the location.
I'd have to disagree with you. I mean, America would, like, protest against anything, right? They're protesting against anything. They're making it, like, think about it. They're trying to stop criminals by fingerprinting them. But aren't they criminals for giving you a couple dollars for a game you spent $60 on? That's the real criminals here, right?
Who's the real criminal here?
All right, let's go.
Dude, that's how you protest it. That's how you protest it, Marco. You come in with your own ink pad and you print the person printing you.
Yeah, go into Gamestop and be like, I'll give you mine if you give me yours.
Oh shit, it's probably a criminal selling you the shit.
Yeah. What is it? The other story about GameStop this week was the 26% credit card they're offering.
Yeah.
Like, who's a criminal now?
That makes no sense. You spend $100 at GameStop, you pay $127 back because they give you this fantastic. But hey, you get all these power-up rewards points to use at GameStop. This is ridiculous.
Have you guys seen, like, the other stores though, like lately, like Macy's and Sears?
All of them are going up.
They're all like 25. They're all 26. That's what I'm like. This is like right on the borderline. This is right where everyone else is doing it. So I'm like,
you'd be better off going to your bank and getting one and using that one.
Even Meineke, even if you go friggin' for Meineke has their credit card, Meineke does it. You can't even get like your car fixed with a credit card.
Not Meineke. Tell me it's not so.
It's like, I'm like, no.
I haven't heard that name in like 10 years.
You tell me,
damn.
I got an oil change with a credit card and I have to pay $500. And I was like, what a great oil change that is. Like,
don't use credit cards.
Yeah, the moral of the story.
Especially not for video games. Like, I'm gonna go buy a video game on credit.
I keep a credit card in my wallet at all times because sometimes you might run into a situation where you really need extra money. You know, like maybe your car broke down and you really are in trouble.
Yeah, I don't really need DLC for a video game.
But do not use credit cards.
Yeah, but
they are, by design, a ripoff.
The percentage rewards for the game is so pathetic. Like, you know how long it'll take you to get $10 off in the game? Like, it's like, that's the worst part of the deal.
I bought all my PlayStation 4, Xbox One, like all that stuff this November, last November, I bought there. And like my PlayStation or my GameStop rewards will give me like a 6-inch figurine or something like that. I went and looked. I was like,
Yeah, this thing right here.
Way to go, Justin.
Here. A fucking claptrap. Like, really?
That's actually
You got
pretty
his
cool.
claptrap.
All right, I'll sign up for the credit card if I can get a claptrap.
They don't even fucking talk.
Man, I don't know about you guys, but Target here has 5%. Do you guys have that too? 5% off the credit card? Anything you
5%
buy
off
is
your
5%
first
off.
purchase?
No, everything.
Oh, really?
So when I buy games, they're already like $20 off already, and then I just go and get another 5% off and pay it off. You don't get interest for 25 days. So it's
Yeah,
bonus.
if you're diligent about paying those things off, then
Yeah.
you can be smart. I know people who transfer. My mother does this. She'll buy something like a big purchase, like an air conditioner, $5,000 air conditioner. She'll put it on a credit card and she'll transfer that balance to a 0% card 6 times before she's done, because you get introductory rates of 0% for 6 months or a year. And she'll do that. That's an easy way for her to finance a big purchase like that without having to just outlay all that cash. But most people are not that good. I, for one, am not that good. If you put a credit card in my hand and I go and spend money on it, when it comes to the end of the month, I may not pay the entire bill off. And if I don't, then next month I'm gonna have a bigger bill.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think it's just bad news.
Remember Macy's, man? Like I got like 40% off that purchase right there if you use the
if you
Macy's
sign up.
card, you sign up.
Yeah.
And like I signed up. I mean, I paid it off like right away. But the thing is, like, for that it was a huge deal. 'Cause I think I was spending like $1,000, something like that. So like that was a huge savings right there,
He got 3 shirts and some socks.
Pretty much.
Those were tit socks, though.
That's some nipple tassels. Thanks, Macy's.
Oh my god.
Every week, my favorite part of this show is when it goes off the rails at the end. Every week.
We got a question this week?
You want to talk about?
Yeah, we got some questions.
I like questions.
Enrique asked, will Destiny outsell Call of Duty Advanced Warfare? That was his question.
That's a good
No,
question.
so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
Well, until they came out with this new Call of Duty trailer that kind of sneak peeked the multiplayer, and then when I got to see this game really is almost photorealistic.
I made a 4-minute video off of those 5 seconds.
I know you did.
Like very slow.
Let me just say that I haven't made any videos on Call of Duty for a while, especially this new Advanced Warfare. But let me just say this before everybody watching, all my subscribers and friends, I am fully invested in this game. Advanced Warfare looks like it's going to be everything that we've been wanting and everything we've been hoping for.
You haven't seen anything yet, unless you watched my 5-minute video detailing those 5 seconds very precisely.
Yeah, you were going back and forth and stopping. Yeah, I watched it. I also watched the rewind trailer on it too. But as far as the game, the way the game looks, it looks so good that I want to buy it just to see exactly how much of that is transferred into the game. They've already come out and said, Sledgehammer, that this game is going to be like photorealistic. That's what they said. And from looking at it, it looks damn near close. If they're able to transfer the fun of the old Call of Duties without all the fluff of the new Call of Duties into this one, it's Call of Duty. They sell 1 million every year.
$1 million, more than that.
I mean, they get a big. I'm talking about in 12 hours, they get 1 million sales. I think it's going to be a big fucking deal this year. I don't know if Destiny can deal with it, because Destiny doesn't have a history. Destiny is new. A lot of people don't know about it.
4.5 million people playing the beta.
4.6 million.
Yeah, but
So a lot of people love it.
word of advice: never listen to a publisher or the developer, because this is going to be the best game you ever played.
I never
It
heard
is?
that before.
Tell me more.
This is gonna look. You remember the last engine? This engine is way better than that last engine. You remember how people looked? They look way better. Like you look, the fish move. The fish move. Like the fish move. Like that's why when they said the fish move, and you got dogs that move better and look better than ever before, like It's been
It also
7
looked
years.
way
Well,
better
you
than
got to
fucking
give it to
people, too.
Riley. That dog warps across the fucking map. I mean,
Like,
that
where are
dog
you? Oh,
can
there you
move.
are.
Dude, I'll never forget. What happened?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. No.
I never forget when I first played Call of Duty Ghosts, man. Like, I thought the dog had my back. It was guarding. I'm over there shooting people. Next thing you know, I got killed, and the dog comes around me and didn't even go kill the person. He comes to see if I'm okay. Thanks for getting my back, you damn dog. Just saying, like.
That dog is fucking annoying.
To
9 to 5,
actually-
what do you think? Is Destiny going to outsell Advanced Warfare?
I was intrigued by the Advanced Warfare trailer. Like Beastly said, I actually reserved a limited edition because I'm that intrigued with it. So it sold me on that. Is it going to outsell Destiny? No, I don't think so. Because
So you think,
I think
why?
more people are intrigued over a new IP than the same wash, rinse, repeat type shit. Maybe
Yeah, I mean, Call of
maybe
Duty's
I'm the
been-
only one. Maybe I'm the only one, but
Call of Duty's
What?
been the hottest selling game for years now. I mean, I'm not positive, but I don't think it was.
I do think
2013, but
I do think Call of Duty is doing enough different with this game from what you've seen with like the jet boosters on the characters and all that stuff. But that could either make or break the game as well by putting that in there. Because a lot of the original OG, like I love Call of Duty, like you guys might hate that shit, you know, and the newcomers might like it, but you won't know until you get your hands on it either.
That's the thing. That in itself will make people wonder, and people will be excited to find out for themselves. Because if it turns out to be like a phenomenal game, and people see all these new additions and you know the difference between this and previous Call of Duties, and plus the fact that it looks like so good, I think everybody's going to be trying to get it immediately, trying to play it. I don't think that they're going to spend 3 years on this and it's going to be worse than the previous ones. I think that the Call of Duty name has been damaged. I think that they got something to prove. And
come on, man. I mean, is Ghost that bad? I like the game. I really do. And
come on now,
year,
BriarRabbit. You know you're the only one who likes it that much.
Right.
Come on, every year people are talking about how bad Black Ops 2 is, how bad Modern Warfare 3 is, how bad Black Ops 1 is, how bad Modern Warfare 2 is. Every fucking year people are all over the game. It's because you get more views by hating than you do by you know, being constructive.
Right, I'm gonna be honest.
Tell us how you really feel.
I have bought every Call of Duty day one except Ghost. I rented. I didn't even buy the game. That's what shows you how much I like Ghost. I rented the game from GameFly. I did not buy it. I rented it twice. Rented it for PS3, then rented a PS4 to try, and never again. I literally
Riley
did
says,
not.
"Fuck you."
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's just me since day one. I will spend the first 3 days getting, you know, first prestige and do that. That's why I did the whole thing. And this was the first Call of Duty I did not buy, so that just shows how much I didn't like Call of Duty Ghost. And
That's
I
the first
swear,
one ever.
that takes a lot for me. 'Cause I didn't, you know, Black Ops 2 was, you know, I like Black Ops 2. It was all about Black Ops 1. The most balanced, I thought. It was the most challenging. The best one for me was World at War, the most fun, but that was unbalanced like crazy. But I think Black Ops was the most balanced one and the most fun one and the most fast-paced one. And that's why I like that.
Black Ops 2 was a lot of fun. Ghost was a lot of fun. I don't know. I am having a good time with Ghost. I still play it. I was playing it today. I got a new TV today, and I was playing it today, and I was having a blast with it. You know, I understand that people are getting sick of the franchise. I understand that, you know, some people really like Black Ops 2 style more than they like the Infinity Ward style. That's okay. But I don't think that Call of Duty Ghosts. I understand that there's this huge opinion on YouTube right now saying this is the worst Call of Duty ever. But put it in perspective, that was the same thing that was happening in August last year about Black Ops 2, and in August of 2012 about Modern Warfare 3, and in August 2011 about Black Ops 1, and so it goes. You know, that this is not a new phenomenon that everybody on YouTube is talking about how bad the current Call of Duty game is.
Well, to put it in the kind of context, Brian, when Ghost first came out, we knew each other, and I told you immediately I didn't like it. It wasn't because I was watching people on YouTube. I just happened to agree with a lot of them. I gradually got to the point where I do enjoy it. I enjoy Call of Duty Ghosts quite a bit when I play it. Even now, when I play the game, I really don't have that many complaints about it anymore because I've kind of adapted myself to the ecosystem of the game and gotten used to the differences from that one and Black Ops 2. But I got to say, Black Ops 2, I had more fun with it
Black Ops 2 was a more dynamic game. I mean, it was a faster-paced game. Your character was more mobile. You were much faster running around the map. So, yeah, I mean, it's a more action-oriented game. And I'm not even saying that Call of Duty Ghosts is better than Black Ops 2 or is the best Call of Duty game. I'm just saying it's not as bad as everybody's saying. You know?
I don't think so either. I don't think it's as bad as the consensus is on YouTube about the game. It's really enjoyable once you really, give it some time and put some effort in and get used to it. But it's like people have this thing in the back of their mind. They have in their minds, better experiences from the past in Call of Duty franchise.
Hey, you go back and play Modern Warfare 2. You see how broken that fucking game is.
Oh man, I watched Not Too Dirty.
The video was funny as hell, man.
I was pissed.
Laughing. I'm like, how's this dude just launching noob tubes? All types of crazy shit.
Dude, he hopped on the helicopter. He was in the air shooting. With a
pistol.
Helicopter using a freaking handgun, killing everyone with a handgun in a helicopter. I'm like, how is that even possible right now?
And you know what I'm thinking? Where was that when I was playing the game? Because I
was
doing that shit back then.
That's better than the MP40, man.
It's not too dirty to see guys in the sky knowing he can't kill him. He'll still be aiming right at him.
Yo, I got one though. I showed the footage of the guy falling. I got him. I got him once, dude. But yeah, the way I feel though about Call of Duty Ghosts is like, to be honest, I felt like it had no identity, and I feel like they tried way too hard. You see the DLC, Snoop Dogg. They got freaking Michael Myers. They got Predator. It was all like, oh man, we're gonna cash grab this one. Like, it was all over the place. They didn't have any identity. They just went all over the place. I feel like this is the only Call of Duty that didn't really focus on genre, a year. Like, it just went everywhere. And I feel like, to me, like, just focus on the time period. Do something. Like, they were all over the place. It just seemed like they were just doing cash grabs, especially for DLC, because they had nothing else to show. Like,
I don't know, man. Like, the things I like about Call of Duty Ghosts are the hit detection is the best hit detection that's ever been in a Call of Duty. It is spot on.
It's real good, yeah. It is real good.
The weapon balance is really good. I have a problem with the IEDs, but everything else, like, yeah, some people say the MTAR is a little overpowered, or the Remington is a little overpowered, but it's nothing like the ACR from Modern Warfare 2 or the MP40 from World at War. I mean, it is a balanced game. Some people say that the maps are too big. I say, play the DLC. It got a lot smaller, and learn the fucking maps, because once you learn the maps, once you learn the cutoff routes, you flank enemies, you get much faster gameplays. I don't know. Like, I understand people have problems with the game. I think it's a really good game.
That one map though. That one, I don't even remember what the name was. It like the stones and all that. Oh my god, dude, that one's way too big.
Hey. Let me tell you this, Not Too Dirty. Once you learn that map, that is a great map.
But
you get the marksman rifle on that map. You can literally just sit in the middle of that map and take a team deathmatch down by yourself.
That's what I'm saying. You sit. That's the problem with the map. The Call of Duty's fast paced. You're waiting. Like, I'm like, you're sitting. That's the exact same thing. Sometimes it took me. It's not even like I'm dying a lot. It took me forever to find people. Sometimes I'm like, oh, they're all fighting on this side. I'm on the other side.
That's why you gotta
running around in circles.
I'm like, what the hell?
Doing laps around the outside.
The
way I learned Call of Duty was to stay on the edges of the map and always be looking in. But with that map, is I go into the middle of the map and I'm always looking out.
I started when the match was like, it wasn't almost over. There's like 10 minutes left, right? And like, I remember this. Like, this one is a PS3. I'm running around the map. Didn't see anyone. Every time I kept running, found no one. And then there's like a couple seconds left. We're almost done. I finally found someone. I died. I was so pissed because I finally got my first chance to find someone on this map, and I died.
Advanced Warfare has me a little concerned because all that, like the double jumping stuff, to me it looks like every other multiplayer game that's coming out. Titanfall had the double jump in. Destiny has the double jump in. Now Advanced Warfare has a double jump in. Like,
what about that?
What?
You saw what I meant earlier when I said it floated? The person floats?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Like before, like you see, like it seems like a disadvantage jumping in that game. So I'm going to see how it works out. But so far, it seems like you just float there for so long, you're just going to get shot when you're in there.
What about the armor? Doesn't that kind of remind you of Crysis, though? Because in Crysis, the armor gives you perks and advantages, and you can tweak what you want to tweak to make yourself stronger, make yourself faster, make yourself jump higher. It's kind of like they took the Crisis model and added that to this new Call of Duty as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did they go
Cloaking from a lot of different sources?
I haven't heard cloaking yay or nay for multiplayer. I believe August 11th is the multiplayer announcement. That's when we're gonna find out.
Because if it's cloaking,
I really don't want cloaking.
If it's cloaking like Beastly said, then that's straight. That's exactly like Crisis. The body art, everything, like that looks like what they're going for. If they do cloaking, then that's gonna really be everyone's gonna be pissed.
Titanfall has that too, and I find it incredibly annoying in Titanfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like cloaking in games. So we're running kind of over, but we didn't talk. There's one more topic I wanted to get to, and that was the Destiny endgame. Did you get? Now, Not Too Nerdy, you actually pointed me to the video on IGN about kind of like the over 20 quests, and it looks interesting.
Wait, what was your question? What happened?
The Destiny. Okay, so you saw that video on IGN where they talked about the kind of end game stuff in Destiny.
I'm like, this sounds familiar.
I'm laughing at Beasley chewing on his licorice.
That's what I was looking at the whole time. Like, looking at him just like, there Twizzler.
He's just smashing some licorice.
Dude, yeah, I want some Twizzlers. Yeah, damn. But yeah, man, Destiny, like the creators for it, they're talking about like once you hit level 20, that's where the game really starts. Got other things open up. You have raids that now the raids are confirmed that it's only 6 people, but you're going on missions together. And
no matchmaking either.
Yeah, so you go in with your team, which is for us would be cool, but for some people, I guess that kind of sucks. But I'm sure you'll make friends with 5 people on there. That's what the tower.
Yeah, you can join the BriarRabbit clan on Bungie.net, and we'll get you into a game.
And we'll all be dancing.
Or if you want to be on the Scrub Squad, go to the Not Too Nerdy ENT clan, and we'll be going against the BriarRabbit clan.
There will be a Crucible match between those 2 clans.
We're going to find all these glitches, and we're going to piss off the BriarRabbit squad. I'll tell you right now, we're going to piss them off.
On the moon sniping.
Exactly. Yeah. Remember, I still got that $10 PSN card for anyone that destroys BriarRabbit. I'm putting a hit on BriarRabbit. If anyone destroys them in the game, you get a $10 PSN card.
I get people playing me in Call of Duty all the time that I recognize from the channel. Like all of a sudden, like somebody will be shooting me. I'll be like, wait a minute, I know that name.
By the way, before I finish the question, like you did shoot me in this one game at Destiny. Out of nowhere, not only does he hop in the game, he hops on the other team and kills me twice, like back to back. I'm like, I think I saw BriarRabbit, and then 2 seconds later, I died, and then he's there, and it looked like he's trying to hump me, or he's pointing at me, like he's using the taunts around me. I'm like, this guy for real? Like, but
like that, you don't need enemies
the whole time.
He was just following me in the game, but. Yeah, so the game really starts at level 20. They have raids and stuff that are there. You can level up with the light or whatever, like a certain ability. You can level up past level 20. It's like they had up to 29, I think, but I think it goes further than that. And you get like a whole bunch of abilities that are even more powerful, the armor and stuff like that. It was insane because when we stopped, what was their armor at? Like the most, anyone's armor was like
150, 160.
Yeah, 160. I think it's like 160. The guys at like 290 something, almost a 300. Like if you see how ridiculous these things are.
I thought he was at like 1400.
Yeah,
he was at 1400.
Yeah, he was at 1400. That was his gun was at like 580 or some shit like that.
I think it was. I was thinking about the raid, but like the gun is like it was like 1400. It was ridiculous, like level ups, and I just can't wait because that just shows how much life the game has. It's not just at 20, and like that's what they're trying to say. Like people think that you're done once it's like that. Maybe the casual gamers that don't want to continue with the game, they might stop at level 20. They might stop there, but there's so much to do afterwards.
Yeah, and let me say that they also said that the Warlock class at level 29 is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So you're going to be a Warlock, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I'm already a Warlock. I haven't changed.
Yeah.
It's insane, baby.
Look at that goatee. Of course he's a fucking Warlock.
What are you, wizard? Gandalf.
Oh man, but yeah, but Briar, we should definitely do that. We should definitely form a alliance
Oh man,
with our
just
clans.
send me a link so I can click join.
Yeah.
Alliance, and then you could do that, which is cool. Like you could have alliances with other clans and stuff like that, and then like that would be interesting. I would love to see if they had like with like the certain, because it seemed like there was like for the raids, there's like certain missions that you have to do together, and there was one part where there was like a ledge or something. Everyone has to time it and jump together.
I saw that. You know, I've seen that before. That looks nasty.
That looks awesome, dude. Like,
the platforms are disappearing, so everybody's got to time it and jump together.
I so wish that they did like raids, like clan versus clan. Like if you have one raid versus another, and you're timing and jumping together and compete against someone else, man, that would be a perfect opportunity. They allow that to happen. But yeah, man, the game looks sweet. It looks like it's a lot more to do, and I just can't imagine once everyone's leveled up that high, how crazy it's going to be in multiplayer. I can't wait, because you think it's a disadvantage because your gun's level high, but your armor's level high. So, like, at the same time, like, you'll be insane. Like, it's going to be
Not to mention, everyone's got the upgraded jumps and all that shit. Where they're jumping even higher. It's like, all right, I'm down for that.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. Like, as long as they make sure that it works where you could... You know, that the matchmaking works. As long as the matchmaking continues to work where they make sure you're with someone that's level the same as you, then it's going to be fun. But if it's like you're just starting, you're going against someone that's level up high, then it's going to suck, you know, for that new person. So, but yeah, I'm excited though.
Yeah, it's going to be hype.
Yeah, I'm all over this game. It was basically the one concern I had with the game was that the end game stuff would get to get repetitive, but this really it looks good.
Yeah, when he tweeted that video out and I looked at it, I was like, okay, I watched like 5 seconds of it, seen level 29, seen the abilities he had. I was like, I'm good. I'm turning it off.
Yeah. All right, this looks good.
Like, I don't want to see anything else, so I'm happy.
Yeah, but like I think Briar said this, and I think it responded to me, was that when he switched up in his chart, his abilities according to what map he's on and stuff like that, and he saw how different he was from one class to he's in the same class. It's just that he switched up his abilities, and it made it like almost a completely different class. Like to me, that's just awesome. You're gonna have to sit down and think what's gonna go best with what you're doing.
Yeah,
and
what kind of guys are we fighting? What kind of challenge is this gonna be?
And who's on your team?
Yeah,
who's on your based on your
stuff.
Yeah, so like, do I want someone to be on that stick with sniper? I want you to have this ability. Like, you plan it out, especially for the raids. Like, there's so much planning to do. Like, I think that's amazing right there.
Yeah, me too.
So.
Well, are any of you guys going to be playing The Last of Us later on today or after the show? Because I will. And if you want to play with me, you can hit me on the PlayStation Network right after Beastly Thoughts. I wanted to tell all our viewers, we started something new. It's called the Beastly Thoughts Gaming Community. It's on Google+. We'll try to get a link in the description of this episode. That's a place where you guys can follow us and watch our videos. All of our videos will be in one place, so you don't have to jump around from channel to channel. You can keep up with the Beastly Thoughts gang there. We hope you guys all join it and like it and contribute. You can contribute your own thoughts and videos and have a good time with the Beastly Thoughts gang. I just wanted to share that with everybody out there.
Do you think you could give me that link so I could possibly join? I feel like I'm the only one that can be part of the group since I, was denied a couple times. Just saying.
No problem. You're going to have to give us your fingerprint, though, first?
Background check.
That was perfect.
To be honest, you can ask the governor. I'm sure they have my fingerprints a couple times. Jersey Shore. I think I told
They'll email it to you.
Jersey Shore. They have my fingerprints. That's all I guess.
All right, guys. Should we wrap this one up?
Yep.
Okay. Let's wrap it up.
Wrap.